Good morning. Welcome everybody to the Be Weird broadcast. We are coming at you live. Check this out from Montreal. Hope you're doing all right. Hope the world's treating you well. I know things have been a little odd, strange of late. We're gonna cover the mood. Cover the news. How was the pop-up? It was good. It's always fun to see new teachers. You know, they're entering the fray. They're all fresh-faced and full of ideals. Had a couple good aha moments. You know, like, yeah, I wouldn't go into it too. It's all educational stuff. But yeah, I'm actually gonna stay home today. I think my colleague has it, because I got to catch up on the blog, and it'll give me a chance to stream with y'all. And it was good. It's good. We got like. Oh, he has a lot of people, actually. He has like 45? Yeah, if I had to end, I would have to leave right at 8:30. So it's like an hour and 15. Yeah, I don't know. He might say he needs my help. We'll see. But all right, I see Cal is already jumping in with all sorts of opinions. We're going to be talking, of course, about how the Prime Minister called the Emergencies Act. I've already seen a bunch of like confusion online, people quoting a BBC article that seemed to got it wrong. So we're just gonna listen to it directly. I'll put up to like 1.25 speed. Yes, Arnold. Yeah, we voted for Trudeau. I think the takeaway from that is like, if you think Trudeau's bad, imagine what the opposition is, right? Like, Canadians are, you know, we know what a sussy baka is, you know, we can tell when someone's giving a shit. Most lefties don't like Trudeau. I'm a lefty. I don't really like Trudeau. He pisses me off. He didn't get rid of first past the post. But there's no real opposition. There's no real leader. Like, I would vote for Jagmeet in a heartbeat. But also at the same time, I'm aware that the NDP don't have much infrastructure. You know, they don't have much oomph there. You know, not much. How do you say, like their bench isn't deep. So that's kind of the case. Also, if you're like spacing out your words so that, like, I guess you don't get caught by TOS or like YouTube standards, community guidelines, just stay within the guidelines, please. Like, I mean, do you have to talk like a child? Just don't talk like an adult. This is an 18+ stream. You can do it. He's all right. He gave us cannabis. Yeah, I mean, like, come on. Right? I mean, like, let's be clear-eyed. He has some good. He has some bad. The problem is that there's not really much to replace him. So let's get into it. Okay. The GMO government weed is garbage? Are you kidding me? I love it. It's awesome. It's like a good price. It's consistent quality. I know exactly what I'm getting. I know what I'm getting when I buy it. And there's also like if you've ever bought hash before, like, what a painful experience that was with dealers. Like, oh my God. Like, at least with the government, it's like, oh wow, this is exactly what I paid for. Thank you. That's all I wanted. Okay. Just a consistent experience, good or bad. Like, but if you smoked weed before it was legal, like, that was not a consistent situation, not at all. Okay, all right. So this is an article that popped up that Margaret Atwood cited. So I just wanted to see what she thought was interesting about it. Yeah, exactly, Cal. Like, that's a problem for us. We are very quickly. You haven't smoked since before Christmas? It's okay, Loud Tyrant Youth. You're not missing anything. It's whatever. So this is some visiting professor of U.S.-Canada Economic Relations at Western Washington. Okay. Author of The Closing of the American Border, Terrorism, Immigration, and Security Since 9/11. Just gonna close the music. If Canadians wanted to let a few truckers and their friends clog the streets of downtown Ottawa and blow horns in the name of free speech, that was their business. But the moment protesters blocked the U.S. border crossing at Coutts, Alberta on January 29th, the RCMP should have hauled them away and ensured that the $44 million in daily trade there, much of it in perishable animal products, kept flowing unimpeded. This is an opinion article, by the way. You obviously haven't grown your own cannabis. Yeah, I have actually. Jumpsuit. It's not particularly. I mean, like it's a process. It takes time. I would do it, but I got so many other things going. I got a whole setup, man. Everyone should grow their own weed. It's weed. It grows. It's like a fucking plant or something. But like I consume more than I grow. That's the problem, Jumpsuit. I haven't put in the time to kind of like fix that. The failure to do so has done enormous damage to Canada's reputation at the worst possible time, when some in the United States are more than happy to start cutting Canadian companies out of critical supply chains. As Flavio Volpe, the energetic lobbyist for Canadian auto parts firms, correctly put it, the border disruptions have, quote, caused potentially irreparable harm to Canada's reputation as a reliable trading partner. Ruh-roh. Ruh-roh. The Trudeau government and most of Canada paid little attention to faraway Coutts. It wasn't until protesters decided to try out the same tactic at the Ambassador Bridge between Windsor, Ontario, and Detroit, where some $400 million in goods cross each day, that the threat became too big to ignore. Oh, hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah, Cal. I can't keep any plants alive. I would cry killing a weed plant. I mean, you should try. Just keep trying. I've killed so many plants, but the ones behind me have survived longer than the ones that came before. So, hoo-wee. Just takes practice and lives. So yeah, this is not looking good for Canada. We look like a bunch of chumps. The reason that we're going to Ottawa right now in front of the memorial, the reason the protesters said they took the fence down is because the war memorial had snow on it when the fence was up. And that was, we saw them like shoveling it and stuff. It was like this really performative, like sweeping, while also yelling at a journalist to go away because he's basically a Nazi. Like, oh, geez, Antonina, you're a bad person. So yeah, now there's garbage there. Tim Horton boxes and hand warmers, just like whatever. Just like, you know, shit. Just kind of, yeah. There was people taking the fencing down, and then there was a confrontation after the fencing was down between like a CTV reporter or a CBC reporter and someone shoveling it. And the dude shoveling it was just berating the reporter. Your poor orchid? I mean, orchids come from the jungle. Orchids are notoriously difficult. You have to like, yeah. That's a tough starter. So yeah, not a good look, everybody. Like it's not like fucking absolute mess, but I think the point here is that like memorials, they're meant to be sacred, so you have to try to emulate what sacred behavior looks like. And the bric-a-brac of just like daily life of water and goods and food, like that doesn't really belong. You'll find in a lot of like religious settings, food is present, but the food is very conspicuously fresh, like fruit or something, and it's very conspicuously an offering. You don't offer Tim Hortons to the cenotaph, like, you know what I mean? It's a really jarring image. There's no holiness going on with fucking corporate nonsense. So yeah, not a good look. Really not a good look. There was actual military humans. I've heard there's a bunch of investigations. I think one of the links we're gonna come across is gonna cover that. Margaret Atwood had an interesting take. I tried to find the original source, but I couldn't. And she said, it's an old playbook. Create chaos, remove validity from government, create a demand for authoritarian order, step in, or force the government itself to use muscle, then yell tyrant. Bingo! Democracy doesn't work. Enemies of it win. Right? And Atwood has been thinking about American culture I mean, she wrote Handmaid's Tale, and she did that by just listening to what Americans said, and reading and writing. And this is a fair thing. We have to watch out for these tactics. This sort of like, your democracy doesn't count because I say it doesn't. When Ontario instituted vaccine passports, the 7-day case average was around 700. Now, even without proper testing, the 7-day average is over 2,600, and they are abolishing it. I know that like a lot of people are dropping mandates right now. So it's, yeah, things are starting to heat up for sure. This just happened in Ottawa.
You drove here to be part of a terrorist fucking insurrection, piece of shit. Fuck you. Freedom. Freedom is locking down my fucking city. Fuck you. Hey, freedom is not here in my life. You don't fucking get it. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck off. Fuck you, man. There is no help for this guy. Let's go. Piece of shit. You drove here to be part of a terrorist fucking insurrection, piece of shit. Fuck you. Freedom. Freedom is locking down my fucking city. Fuck you. Hey, freedom is not here in my life. You don't fucking get it. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck off. Fuck you, man. There is no help for this guy. Let's go. Piece of shit.
Just organizing some sources. So yeah, people are pretty pissed. I don't agree with everything that dude is saying, but I understand the tenor. From a woman viewer who is a healthcare worker taking public transit. Yes, there are peaceful protesters, but there is also this: hate, intimidation, and vile conspiracy theories blasted through Bullhorn. Bank in Lisgar, Saturday at 6 p.m. Haven't watched this yet.
Freedom! Freedom! Get that out of my face. Get the camera under my face. You're not allowed to do that, eh?
You're in public. I can't
I'm
do
in
it.
public?
Yeah?
Are you?
Yeah.
You're a Trudeau supporter, are you? Or you're one of those, eh? You're one of those. Devil worshiper. You like people's little kids, eh? 'Cause that's what Trudeau does.
Whoa.
Gave a gag order. $2.some million to a little girl 14 years old.
Wait, what?
And then sent her out of the country with her family. Are you recording that?
What the
Thank you.
fuck?
Yeah.
God bless. Freedom.
Make sure to like and share.
Make sure to like and share, please. And don't be anything, please. Don't know anything.
Goodbye.
So unhinged. Just absolutely insane. What did I just see? Everything about this.
Get that out of my face. Get the
What's,
camera under my
he's
face.
got a Fiji
You're not allowed to
bottle?
do that, eh?
He's got a Fiji bottle, everyone. Hates globalists, loves globalist water.
In public. I can't do it. Yeah?
Are you?
Yeah.
You're a Trudeau supporter, are you?
Trent Holmes from Australia. Yo, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. That's honestly my favorite thing about streaming this early in the morning, waking up at like 3:30 today. Jesus. Is like, yeah, international audience.
Devil worshiper. You like people's little kids, eh?
This is what the internet's doing to people's brains. I'm really worried. I'm really worried that Canadians aren't really ready for this kind of shit.
That's what Trudeau does. He gave a gag order. $2.some million to a little girl 14 years old. And then sent her out of the country with her family.
Like, I didn't even know what that means. 2 points on a little, like,
Are you recording that? Thank you.
Yeah.
God bless. Freedom.
Freedom.
Make sure to like and share, please. And don't be anything, please. Don't know anything.
Don't be anything. Don't know anything. Remember, everyone. Don't be and don't know.
Goodbye.
Freedom. Jesus fucking Christ, I hate this word so much. It was stupid when there's the whole freedom fries thing after France refused to help America in its illegal war, illegal invasion of Iraq. But now freedom's just really fucking dumb. So, Battle of Billings Bridge. Who's heard of this? The Battle of Billings Bridge. What an interesting tale. A bunch of counter-protesters organized in Ottawa They stood outside for 6 hours in minus 20 degrees. And I remember, like, it was a fucking cold. We had a cold snap. Look at that. So what ended up happening is they stopped people from going to the blockade. You know, they, maybe put a blockade up with their forces, with their names, with their bodies. They created a lane so that emergency vehicles and appropriate traffic could get through. And police started asking them to fuck off. Wild. Absolutely trying to, like, there's some footage that I saw of police trying to clear. It was like a 15-minute video, so I didn't want to, like, put up on stream. I had to, like, scrub through. Beck said after this, if she never hears the word freedom again, it'll be too soon. Only one day? We need to liberate her eardrums. Yeah. Yeah. So these people, like, are showing exactly. I don't know if it's fascism, but the blockaders were trying to overthrow the government. Like, I cannot make that any more clear. Freedom Convoy protesters were seen dancing in the Canadian capital of Ottawa. That was this morning. This was posted 3:30 this morning. So is that, like, super early? Maybe they uploaded it the day after. The freedom protests, brother. I got my tattoo at the freedom protest. It says freedom. Oh yeah. This is interesting. Blockade backlash. An Angus Reid poll, which is basically one of Canada's premier polling agencies, says 3 in 4 Canadians tell Convoy protesters go home now. Yeesh. Stay in Ottawa and other protest sites until their demands are met. 22% of so 1622 is the set of people that were asked. But 72% say go home now. They have made their point. Sheesh. Yo, you ever walk into a room and there's 3 other people in there and you get into an argument with them? At the end of that argument, you feel like you've been browbeaten. You feel like they didn't, I couldn't get a word in edgewise. It was so unfair. Like, you never want to be in a situation where 3 people in a room disagree with you. It's a very uncomfortable experience. Good for them getting out there and being heard. They have the same right as the truckers to be heard. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely, Cal. The problem, though, is that when you start getting protesters and counter-protesters, it signals that the police haven't done an appropriate job, particularly in this case. And for police, that's bad because that's where fights break out. And then you have to start cracking down. But the police couldn't crack down because there's children in the fucking crowd for some crazy reason. It ruined Braveheart for you? I mean, that's what ruined Braveheart for you? Not the fucking weird armor they were all wearing? Fucking leather armor? Jesus Christ. So here's something that you wouldn't see in mainstream media. This was a very evocative statue, or I guess protest put up for Valentine's Day, and it's to commemorate the missing and murdered Indigenous people, especially in Canada. I don't know if this is in Canada or America, but in Canada, it's a pretty fucking real issue, particularly in the Northwest Territories. There was like this one route where like a bunch of women were victimized by like fucking serial killers and shit. Like it's really dark. It's really fucked up. Canada absolutely failed so many Inuit, so many Aboriginal folk. So yeah, don't want to let go of that thread. You know, these things don't just like, we shouldn't let these things get forgotten. Okay, so there's been a bunch of misinformation because of this stupid fucking article. This headline's wrong. BBC is wrong, and they should feel wrong. They should feel bad. We're gonna go through and absolutely make sure that that's the case. But according to this article, the Emergencies Act gives Trudeau the power to freeze anti-mandate protesters' individual bank accounts. Like Vaush has gone on saying like this is basically the Patriot Act. And we're gonna listen to this in full, like 1.25 speed, just to kind of like get through. It's like an hour long, to just understand exactly what's going on. But when you go into the comments, when you read people who understand this shit, they all say like BBC got this kind of fucking wrong. And the quote that I've seen from the finance minister is that it's gonna freeze corporate assets. What the fuck happened? They're not. They. I agree. Something on police. They're not doing good at keeping things in order. What a fail. But they might just like the festivals and freedom. Yeah, there's a lot of. Okay, the headline seems incorrect. Having watched the press conference, the change here is not that they are able to go after the protesters, is that they can go after large foreign donations to fundraising efforts by the protesters. The requirement to report doesn't even kick in until a threshold intended to catch money laundering and similar enterprises. So yeah, Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland said at Monday's news conference that banks would be able to freeze personal accounts. And that's like the quote from BBC that's just like going around and isn't exactly accurate. Yeah, and that's why it's not the thing that's happening, right? Like corporations absolutely are able to stop money that's being used to fund extremism. Like I'm sorry, I'm pretty okay with that. The government should be able to say like, hey, banks, stop allowing foreign money to poison our democracy, please. This is boring. That's boring. Sorry, I got some fucking American news mixed in here. We don't want no American news. When we go to a Canadian source like CTV News, we get a different picture. We get Trudeau makes history, invokes Emergencies Act to address trucker protests. This is like the first time it's been used. For the first time in Canadian history, federal government is enacting the Emergencies Act, declaring a public order emergency to bring the ongoing trucker convoy protests and blockades to an end. In effecting the extraordinary powers, the federal government is moving forward with a wide, sweeping range of new measures to support the provinces, municipalities, and police forces currently facing continued demonstrations, but are also cracking down on some of the more systemic gaps exposed by the Freedom Convoy protests. Right now, the situation requires additional tools not held by any other federal, provincial, or territorial law. Today, in these circumstances, it is now clear that responsible leadership requires us to do this, calling it a last resort. Beck said, please break her eardrums rather than liberating them. Whatever it takes, I guess. But I heard that the people who were raising money were drifters and not truckers, taking the money anyways and leading the group to get arrested. Yeah, like, I mean, even if you're deeply sympathetic with the truckers, there's every possibility that the truckers are being used as scapegoats to be, like, pumped and dumped. Like, just to be, like, one thing I've seen is, like, if you know how to meme, if you know how to whip up the right, you can just set up shop, sell shit, and then disappear. Like, it's a thing. And sometimes you're setting up shop with a GoFundMe. Sometimes you're setting up shop with like T-shirts and phrases and fucking red caps, as you can imagine. So new powers are enabling the RCMP to have the jurisdiction to enforce municipal bylaws and provincial offenses. So now our federal police force can go enforce city law, provincial law, prohibiting taking part in a public assembly where it's considered a breach of peace and goes beyond lawful protest. This is something that I'm amazed by. Like, so many protests like end, right? They end like at night. And if they don't end at night, the police are there to like crack heads. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's such a natural rhythm. It's fascinating to me to hear about like our prime minister having to be like, oh yeah, unlawful protests are unlawful. Just to make sure we're on the same page on this. It's like, what the fuck? Regulating the use of certain property, including goods used in blockades. That's probably like the propane shit. Designating secure and protected places and infrastructure that are critical to the economy, such as border crossings and airports, because they were blocking airports. Compelling those capable to render essential services. So in this case, ordering tow truck drivers to remove vehicles blocking roads. This is a big one. Apparently all the tow truck drivers were like, oh, we all have COVID. We can't possibly help the police affect law and order. Yeah, fuck Trudeau shirts and giant truck logos, sus as hell. Yeah, they're all like Chinese manufacturers and stuff. Okay, cool. Looks like I'm good for this morning. Authorizing financial institutions to essentially stop the financing efforts, including immediately freezing or suspending affiliated accounts without a court order. See how different that reads from the BBC article that we came across? BBC article, Trudeau freezes personal accounts of truckers. CTV, authorizing financial institutions to essentially stop the financing efforts, including immediately freezing or suspending affiliated accounts without a court order. Like, slaps completely differently. Like, yeah, you're authorizing a financial institution to like immediately process something so they don't have to go to a court, so that you can do things quickly without it taking weeks. It's not the federal government reaching in and yoinking people's personal accounts, but you know, that's the story that we're gonna hear. Let's fucking go. Imposing fines of up to $5,000 or imprisonment of up to 5 years on those who breach any of the above orders. Wow. I want to be very clear. The scope of these measures will be time limited, geographically targeted, as well as reasonable and proportionate to the threats they are meant to address. We're going to listen to that live pretty soon. Chief Slowly is suspect. He seems to be very reluctant to arrest. The other take I've heard, pre-natural, is that it's the other way around. That Chief Slowly is like the reformer, but he isn't respected by the rank and file, and the rank and file are dragging their feet on enforcing laws. And what's he to do? He can say, police, go do this thing, but if they stand around taking pictures, if they watch people remove the fencing and don't call in more backup, then like, what's he going to do? Start disciplining the entire force? There's power in numbers. And we also noticed that like in other towns, this wasn't really a problem. Like other police shut it down, no problem. Like Toronto, Coots has been shut down, like borders back open. One of the backstories that I missed on Monday was that the hackers just leaked the names of 92,000 Freedom Convoy donors. So Give, Send, Go, the Christian crowdfunding site that helped raise $8.7 million for the anti-vax Freedom Convoy in Canada, was hacked on Sunday night. So we're a few days behind it. I don't think Vice had the story, or had the scoop, but here we go. The Christian crowdfunding site that helped raise $8.7 million for the anti-vax Freedom Convoy in Canada was hacked on Sunday night, and the names and personal details of over 92,000 donors were leaked online. The database of 92,845 donors is no longer available on the site, but Vice News was able to review a copy of the data. While some of the donors did not provide their names, such as the person behind the current top donation of $215,000, the vast majority did provide them, including American software billionaire Thomas Siebel, who donated $90,000 to the Freedom Convoy. Hey, look at that. An American billionaire funding right-wing movements. Where have I heard that one before? I support upholding our Charter of Rights and Freedoms of all Canadians to be treated equal under the law, but I don't think you need a t-shirt or merch to do that. All it takes is a grassroots movement. Yeah, Cal, I think the question you need to ask yourself very seriously is this a grassroots movement? We're going to find out in this article that 56% of the majority of donors come from the US, 56%, and Canada, 29%. That's almost 2 to 1. More Americans funded this than Canadians. That's strange. Despite over 15,000 more donations flooding in from the US, Canadian donors outraised Americans by almost $1 million, bringing in $4.3 million compared to $3.6 million. Okay, that's interesting. The messages contained over 13,000 references to God or Jesus, as well as thousands of references to tyranny. We're getting into some strange territory here. I was a part of the trucker revolution, and all I got was this lousy t-shirt. Yeah, that's a good meme. That's a really good meme. It does seem like a totally plausible. The Ottawa police are trying to embarrass the federal government. I thought that was Ford, but everyone was just like, it's not going to work. You're not going to get egg on Trudeau's face because policing is a provincial matter, and every Canadian knows that. I wonder how much George Soros donated. Yeah, we can't wait to hear those theories go around. Let's listen to not the previous Conservative leader, but the previous Conservative leader from only 2 years ago talk about Indigenous protesters who blockaded pipelines that weren't even finished being built.
Prime Minister, as I said, I would direct the mean, we have a situation. We have ideologically motivated protesters and activists who have, in many cases, have no connection at all with the First Nations community. And they are threatening the jobs of thousands. We're hearing from the union representing railway workers that up to 6,000 railway workers could face layoffs. Okay, these protesters, these activists, may have the luxury of spending days at a time on a blockade, but they need to check their privilege. They need to check their privilege and let people whose job depends on the railway system, and small business, farmers, do their jobs.
That's how the previous conservative leader talked about Indigenous protesters trying to stop oil and gas development. Can't get egg on his face because it's covered in black. Man, I don't think I've heard that joke before. Is that a Trudeau blackface joke? Because I don't think that joke's been made before. I think you're the first person to do it. Okay, here's a better image set of the blockade. Why would Ottawa city residents ever trust Ottawa police again? Sorry, the Battle of Billings Bridge. There is no reason. It is complicit with Ottawa occupied, racist, and rotten at its core. So this is how like some of the residents were talking about the protest. Ottawa police are asking Ottawans to let the convoy pass. They say they won't go downtown. The crowd does not believe them. They cite lack of blockades. Crowd not moving. I remember coming across that tweet when it was first posted, and I was outraged. I was like, wait, what? The police are saying let these people pass? They're like arguing with counter protesters to not blockade. People are going to a blockade. Can you stop with the irony? And then last one, leaving with their tails between their legs, flagless. So that's, I guess, the rear lights of the convoy. It's kind of hard to see. The crowd is letting convoy trucks out on their terms, one by one. The people are letting them out. The police are escorting. They've been successfully blocked from joining the occupation in the core. Ottawans taking back some control. Remember, Hubbleson, a joke should always surprise and never pander. Good job, Ottawa. All convoy trucks at the Bank and Riverside blockade have now been sent on their way away from downtown only after they were made to remove racist decals and flags, yada, yada, yada. The people have won. The blockade wound down an hour ago. Trucks were made to take down their signs and flags. So proud of citizens. There, even got jerry cans. There you go. So that was the Battle of Billings Bridge. Hoo-wee. Okay, here we go. Military investigating. We're gonna turn up the heat a little bit before we get to the Prime Minister Justin Trudeau talking about the Emergencies Act. We're going to talk about some of the heavier shit that's been going down. Military investigating at least 6 active soldiers for supporting convoy protests. 2 among the 6 are among elite JTF2 counterterrorism unit. The Canadian Armed Forces have acknowledged that at least 6 active soldiers are under investigation after they showed support for the protest against vaccine mandates and other COVID-19 measures. It's unclear how many of them have participated in the protests on Parliament Hill. CBC News has confirmed a report in the Ottawa Citizen that 2 members under investigation are part of the JTF2 assault team, the elite counterterrorism unit of the Canadian Forces. If the allegations are accurate, this is wrong, and it goes against CAF values and ethics, Major General Steve Boivin, commander of the Canadian Special Operations Forces, said in a statement. This comes after another weekend of mass demonstrations, and this was followed after the invocation. Okay, so yeah, this is a little sussy, and now we're really gonna amp up, okay? We're really gonna amp it up a fucking notch. These were the weapons and armor and ammo that were seized in Coots at the blockade. This is nut bar. Now, I'm familiar with this guy. That looks like almost looks like a 22, but I'm sure the gauge is higher on that. But that looks like a standard bolt action rifle. That's something I would expect to see in hunting. Shotgun, okay. Not too bad. Just looks kind of sweet with the side. These other guys, I ain't seen that shit before. Like that fucking one? Like holy shit, what the fuck? What kind of guns are these? Are these hunting? Like that's a hunting rifle. That's not a hunting rifle. That's a hunting rifle? That's not a hunting rifle. Like what the fuck? What do you need a handle up front for? Like for semi-auto? One thing in the comments that was pointed out that I never would have picked up on because I'm just not that deep in the game. There are rifles there that we used to use in the military. Can you identify any of them? Like the black one from the right or whatever? One of the things that people have been pointing out and making a lot of fuss and not a single fire shot, legit conservatives, M17, that guy? On that table. Why would body armor be the most outrageous thing? Actually, completely glossing over the body armor. It's definitely anything semi-auto. No, the thing that I never would have picked up on is, okay, look at these things right here. Yeah, guns are cool and shooting shit is fun, but like, don't shoot people, right? We're all in agreement on that. That should be pretty easy to say. These magazines here, you notice how you can see bullets at the end of the cartridge? Apparently in Canada, there is a federal regulation that no weapons that have semi-auto capabilities can have more than 5 bullets in the magazine. You can buy the whole cartridge, but they like come with pins or something, and you can like screw around it to get rid of the pin and just like fill the cartridge normally. And each one of these, every single time you find that, it's like 5 to 10 years. Like it's a federal charge, and I'm looking at multiple clips. They aren't clipped. Yeah, there's supposed to be a pin or something. They've been depinned was sort of the language. I'm horribly unfamiliar, but this is the shit right here, apparently. And the handguns. I think was the other thing. A lot of the hunting rifles you can kind of get away with, but apparently like you're not allowed to bring any sort of weapon to a location with people with public, like a public protest. You're not allowed to bring weapons to a protest. It's like another law that Canada has, and it might be a federal run. There's a fucking machete. Like I'm all for macheteism. I believe in machetes. You know, everyone should have a machete. They're good. Robert Evans has been the sending the true word on macheteism since time immemorial, but maybe not at protests. Maybe not with fucking handguns and semi-autos. Now, the one thing that we don't see in this image is like how many people this belonged to. But it absolutely ends and quashes any interpretation of this as a peaceful protest. Yeah, some people are just like, shaheesh. Because the thing I find fascinating about this is that, like, from everything I understand about gun culture, like, you don't aim unless you're ready to shoot, and you don't shoot unless you're ready to kill, right? Like, it's just, yeah, I mean, that looks kind of bog standard, honestly. You can see a bunch of other clips there. I mean, if there's going to be guns, there's going to be ammo. It's more having these magazines set up for, like, full, yeah, you can't bring guns to a protest. It's no longer a protest. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just kind of like, is that a machete or something on the... Yeah, it's a fucking machete. It's on the ground, but yeah, macheteism. Let's go. How do I reach... It has never been a protest. I think it was a protest in the first couple, but given all we're learning about, like, the fucking source of money and, like, how much foreign shit's coming in and how unhinged people are, like there are people who are joining it to join the protest, but there's, like, a substantive minority that are absolutely using this to grind money, to, like, get troops, like, get names on email lists and bolster their ranks, How about we just start moving things forward slowly and deal with it? I think we came across, like, that thing from Toronto that, like, we brought in mandates at much lower, like, case numbers. So here is a reporter who's on the ground. RCMP Alberta have arrested 11 people at Coots border blockade. 13 long guns, handguns, multiple sets of body armor, a machete, a large quantity of ammunition, and high capacity magazines. So yeah, that's exactly what we just covered. So now we do know 11 people for all that shit. 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I count 15 guns for 11 people. What, was someone slinging a shotgun and a fucking like what was it, the M17? like what the like I got my M249 right here. My machete for close quarter combat. My Glock. Like, what the fuck are these people? Fucking Rambos and Hambos. Jesus Christ. Okay. All right. Let's get into it. Let's listen to Trudeau talk to the nation. Oh God. Oh God. Into hell we go. Gird your loins.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Oh,
I am accompanied today
I fucking hate this.
by Deputy Prime Minister Freeland and
It's mostly
Ministers Levetti,
there's no francophones in the chat, eh? There's no point going to the original. Okay.
Mendocino, and Blair. I'm here to give you an update on the illegal blockades and tell you about our efforts to support Ukraine facing potential Russian invasion. But let's begin with
True,
the situation
Lacey.
here in Canada, of course.
There has been a lot of talk about it ending in bullets. I say we lock up grandma and vulnerable people and everyone starts bringing food to their family and helping each other, letting the young, healthy individuals work for the old who got us where we are. I don't know, man. Last I checked, boomers are trying to, get young blood cells into them so that they can... You don't even know how they got some of those rifles? America.
Illegal blockades that have been disrupting the lives of too many Canadians. Here in our capital city, families and small businesses have been enduring illegal obstruction of their neighborhoods, occupying streets, harassing people, breaking the law. This is not a peaceful protest. At the borders in different parts of the country, the blockades are harming our economy and endangering public
Yes.
safety. Critical supply chains have been disrupted.
You are you on max as well? The easiest way to turn up the volume is on your end. Let me try this. Increase my voice.
Is hurting workers who rely on these jobs to feed their families.
How's that?
Yesterday, the Ambassador Bridge was reopened between Windsor and Detroit. Our team and I have been working with Ontario and the City of Windsor around the clock. I want to
what?
thank the officers on the ground, including the RCMP, who played an active role. We now have a responsibility to make sure that the bridge stays open. With each illegal blockade,
I don't know, Paul. We just saw a bunch of illegal weapons and illegal magazine clips that had far more than federal regulations allow, meaning up to 5 to 10 years per infraction. Sounds pretty illegal to me. It's one, yeah, I sped it up.
local law enforcement agencies have been acting to keep the peace within their jurisdiction. Despite their best efforts, it is now clear that there are serious challenges to law enforcement's ability to effectively enforce the law. On Friday,
That's the finance minister. We're going to hear from her later, Chrystia Freeland, and I think Freeland is trending right now. And yeah, if you've ever stood in front of and you're about to talk, that's very, very intense. I don't know, man. In public speaking, it's not easy.
Ontario invoked a state of emergency to respond to the blockades. This was the responsible and necessary thing to do. Today, to continue building on these efforts, the federal government is ready to use more tools at its disposal to get the situation fully under control. After discussing with Cabinet and caucus, after consultation with premiers from all provinces and territories, after speaking with opposition leaders, the federal government has invoked the Emergencies Act to supplement provincial and territorial capacity to address the blockades and occupations. I want to be very clear. The scope of these measures will be time-limited, geographically targeted, as well as reasonable and proportionate to the threats they are meant to address. The Emergencies Act will be used to strengthen and support law enforcement agencies at all levels across the country. This is about keeping Canadians safe, protecting people's jobs, and restoring confidence in our institutions. Here's how the measures we're taking today will help get the situation under control. The police will be given more tools to restore order in places where public assemblies can constitute illegal and dangerous activities, such as blockades and occupations, as seen in Ottawa, the Ambassador Bridge, and elsewhere. These tools include strengthening their ability to impose fines or imprisonment. The government will designate, secure, and protect places and infrastructure that are critical to our economy and people's jobs, including border crossings and airports. We cannot and will not allow illegal and dangerous activities to continue. The Emergencies Act will also allow the government to make sure essential services are rendered, for example, in order to tow vehicles blocking roads. In addition, financial institutions will be authorized or directed to render essential services to help
Who's tired? I'm not tired. You're tired.
address the situation, including by regulating and prohibiting the use of property to fund or support illegal blockades. Finally, will enable the RCMP to enforce municipal bylaws and provincial offences where required.
Yeah, when I was making the thumbnail for the YouTube, I was going to pick a picture of Trudeau from Wikipedia, but the image from like today, oh yeah, she's like, oh god, let me do my speech. But yeah, the image from today, I was like, okay, finally, some gray hairs. Like, Jesus, how has this prime ministership not like aged him more?
This is what the Emergencies Act does.
He's such a slow talker.
Let me be equally clear about what it does not do. We're not using the Emergencies Act to call in the military. We're not suspending fundamental rights or overriding the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. We are not limiting people's freedom of speech. We are not limiting freedom of peaceful assembly. We are not preventing people from exercising their right to protest legally.
From what I understand, that's like baked into the law that he's invoking. Like the way the law was written was like specifically outlined that these Charter of Rights and Freedoms aren't abrogated by the Prime Minister invoking this act, something like to that effect.
We are reinforcing,
again, not a lawyer,
the principles, values, and institutions that keep all Canadians free.
We're pretty past that point, preternatural. And a lot of what this is going to do, the Emergencies Act, is let the RCMP do the job of Ottawa police, who have absolutely failed, especially after like Toronto, Montreal, and other cities have like shut down the protests without any major disruptions to trade. Kind of shows that, this is a policing problem.
Following discussions with Cabinet and Caucus, after consulting the premiers of all provinces and territories, and after speaking with the leaders of the opposition party.
Yeah, pink pineapple. You could actually have agent saboteurs for once, or you know what I mean? Agent provocateur. It would be super easy. You just glad hand with some of the protesters.
To be very clear, these measures will be limited in time and geographically targeted. They will be reasonable, they will be proportional to the threats to Canada's security. The Emergency Measures Act will strengthen and support the work by the police. We are not using the Emergency Measures Act in order to deploy the military. We will not be suspending fundamental rights. As articulated in the Charter of Rights and Freedom, we are not limiting the right to peacefully protest or assemble. What we want to do is protecting Canadians, protecting their jobs, and reinstating confidence in our institutions.
Something that's been used ever, but it exists for a reason. Invoking the Emergencies Act is never the first thing a government should do, nor even the second. The act is to be used sparingly and as a last resort. Right now, The situation requires additional tools not held by any other federal, provincial, or territorial law. Today, in these circumstances, it is now clear that responsible leadership requires us to do this. These measures must be and will be compliant with our Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Indeed, the Emergencies Act was created in the late 80s to flow from and uphold the Charter. We'll always defend the rights of Canadians to peaceful assembly and to freedom of expression, but these blockades are illegal, and if you're still participating, the time to go home is now. On a separate track from the Emergencies Act, I want to reassure people that the Canadian Border Services Agency is already turning back non-Canadians trying to enter Canada to participate in blockades. And of course, while we get the situation under control, we'll continue to have Canadians' backs. I want to remind affected businesses that if you're facing revenue losses, support is available through our wage and rent subsidy programs. We know that downtown Ottawa businesses in particular have been hard hit by these illegal activities. In the coming days, we'll be launching specific support for those businesses. I know that everyone is tired of this pandemic. We're hearing your frustration with COVID and even with the temporary measures we had to put forward to keep people safe. I know people are frustrated. I hear it. You have a right to express that frustration and even your anger with the government or government policies. It's something we'll always defend in this.
Yeah, I hear a lot of the mandates are being taken down just because people are fed up with them. Yeah, I'm hoping masks stay in public places. I mean, Asia seems to be doing it pretty easy. An empty suit, yeah, but he has managed to lead the country year after year. Government just lags behind. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, a lot of the mandates that we're taking down, like, were put up with lower numbers. So I don't know. It might be one of those things where it's like, oh, we opened too early again. Like, that's also happened a couple times where people are like, just like, fuck it. People just need the economy. And they open up and then like, whoa, the hospital system takes a blow and they go, okay, maybe we got to close down again. Like, we've seen that cycle as well. Yeah, people in my town haven't worn masks this whole 2 years. My family and I keep getting nonstop sick from it. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, I haven't gotten sick in years. Pink pineapple, like literally years. It's crazy to me. The worst I've felt has been like after booster shots, and it's just been like a day or two of feeling a bit meh.
Free and democratic country. But blockading streets and critical infrastructure and depriving your neighbors of their freedoms.
Oh, thanks
is a
for the
totally
follow,
different thing.
Prenatural.
It has to stop. Tout le monde est fatigué de la pandémie.
Sweet gif, eh?
Everyone is tired of the pandemic.
Oh, also Drunk Genta. Drunk Genta followed me. Drunk Genta followed? Oh, look at that. Whoa. I love this gif. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Okay.
There are other ways to express yourselves rather than participating in illegal activities and dangerous activities. As Mr. Duclos said
Oh,
last
shit.
week, public health measures are constantly being reassessed, and we will continue to modify them according to science. In fact, we will be making some announcements on that subject in the coming days.
The like vaccine hesitancy stuff I can kind of like get into. I can kind of get into that headspace because like science is sometimes just fucking magic. And what is it, like any technology sufficiently advanced behaves like magic? You know what I mean? Like if it's you just like don't understand how this thing's working, it's just like, okay, I'm just trusting you're working your magic kind of thing. But the mask stuff, like that's just like bait. That's just child logic. Like kindergartners figure that out. Like schools apparently, especially like primary schools, from like what I've heard anecdotally, are like, yeah, it's easier to police. Like teachers are able to say to the kids, no, wear your mask. These are the rules. And the kids are like, yeah, okay, I get it. You know what I mean? It's like pretty easy. But adults, oh my God, don't tell adults nothing. Being unvaccinated or not doesn't really help stop the virus at this point, which should be the point of any mandate. The vaccination was never about stopping the virus. It was only ever about spreading out our sick. So we didn't want all our sick to get sick and get real sick bad early, because then it crashes, the gate crash. You don't want to DDoS your fucking hospital system. That's what the mandates are about. It's like trying to stop a DDoS on your hospital system. Just like spamming your hospital with a bunch of sick people. Like, it's never a good situation. I'm starting to see some people refuse to wear masks in my community, protests at our major intersections. Oh, fuck. Yeah, I get it too. It's just that they've been doing the same thing. These convoy guys have been doing this whole time. Yeah. You're still going to get corona with or without the vaccine if exposed. Yeah, probably. But masks are a good idea just to have a layer of safety. Yeah. Like, all the science has been really supportive of like masks working. It's why it was like such a popular thing that countries adopted around the world. Our town has been tormented by protests and convoys for 2 years. Oh, Jesus. You don't shove a mask on a child? I mean, Cal, kids wear scarves all the time. What are you talking? Kids wear masks for Halloween. Is Halloween child abuse? What are you talking about?
Today, I also want to speak briefly about our support for Ukraine. On Saturday, I spoke with President Zelensky.
Washing my hands is literally murdering all the bacteria on my hands. That's genocide.
To reaffirm Canada's steadfast support and to continue to do whatever we can to support Ukraine.
Yeah, Cal, whenever you're telling people their experiences, you come off bad. So when someone says, my son loves this thing, and then you say, oh, he actually doesn't, you just come off as weird. Halloween is unevening? I mean, maybe if your kids are lame. What are you talking about? Halloween should be fucking all day. You go to school in your costume? Duh. Like, there's sometimes dances at the school. Like, what are you talking about? It's a whole day affair. Just to clarify, I'm not saying the vaccine is awesome. Just saying it always the vaccine hesitancy always turns into anti-mask, which turns into this kind of nonsense. Yeah, like there's an order of magnitude between these two issues. And both, like, this should not be controversial, and this probably shouldn't be controversial, but you know.
During the weekend,
I mean, Hubbleson, we all saw those pictures of kids literally on a highway holding hands. Like what? They're going to stop cars with their bodies on a 4-lane highway? Who's putting their kids on for political agendas? It's not like nurses putting masks. Like, what are you talking about? You guys ever go to a hospital? People are wearing masks. This is you're arguing with fucking common sense right now. It's really weird.
Spoke to the Charles Michel, as well as Chancellor Scholz of Germany and President Duda of Poland.
Active G7 response to support Ukraine.
I don't spend my time looking up child abuse, Cal.
Ukraine's economic resilience. Today, we're announcing that Canada will offer a loan of up to $500 million to the government of Ukraine. I want to thank Deputy Prime Minister Freeland for her leadership on this file.
Oh,
and underline that this is in addition to the $120 million
Maybe we skip
loan
this?
that has already been unified Ukrainian partner.
We'll cover Ukraine once this stuff settles down.
Russia from pursuing
for independence.
Deputy Prime Minister Freeland.
I won't debate it with you until you read it yourself. There's lots of articles about how masks are child abuse. You can't argue with facts. I mean, when you say articles, and I'm going to go start citing fucking scientific journals, what's going to happen to our little debate? Like, what's going to happen in that conversation? Are you actually going to toss up your blog pieces against fucking rigorous scientific article? We'll be talking past each other. You understand? We're using different forms of evidence. I'm not convinced by the same words on a page that you might be. It's called critical media literacy.
Merci, Monsieur le.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Hello, everyone. Across the world, liberal democracies are being confronted with serious and repeated threats. We thought, and we perhaps even hoped, that Canada would be spared. For the last 2.5 weeks, we have realized that this is not the case. This siege and these blockades are causing major damage to our economy and are harming our democratic institutions as well as Canada's reputation in the world. International confidence towards Canada as a good place to invest and do business has been shaken.
Barricades are doing great damage to Canada's economy and to our reputation as a reliable trading partner.
True.
The blockade of the Ambassador Bridge has affected about $390 million in trade each day.
Wow.
This bridge supports
Wow.
30% of
So everyone who's coming here about like BLM burning down cities and all the property damage, like, yo, we losing a third of a bill every day. What's up? I thought we cared about money and economy and shit.
trade by road between Canada and the United States, our most important trading partner. In Coutts, Alberta, about $48 million in daily trade has been affected by the blockades. In Emerson, Manitoba, about $73 million in daily.
Yeah, we're hoping it doesn't get too ugly. I'll start looking for live streams from Ottawa. I see that war campaign's up right now with 1,000 watching. But usually what's happening is that the police are shutting them down, not YouTube. YouTube doesn't give a shit. YouTube doesn't have like any individuals paying any attention to, hey, Yeti, you get a little time out for misogyny. Okay? We're not going to call women bitches in this chat, okay? You do it again, it's a permanent ban.
Trade has been affected by the blockades. These costs are real.
Yeah.
They threaten businesses, big and small, and they threaten the livelihoods of Canadian workers, just as we are all working so hard to recover from the economic damage caused by COVID.
So hard.
Nous nous sommes battus bec et ongle.
We fought so hard to protect Canada's privileged relationship with the United States when we were negotiating NAFTA.
Y'all remember NAFTA?
To Tariff 232, which were illegals and unjustified. We will never let those hard-won victories be tarnished. The world is watching us. Our jobs, our prosperity, and our livelihoods are in danger. That is why our government is acting. We are resolute and determined. These illegal blockades must be lifted, and they will be.
Invoking the Emergencies Act, we are announcing the following immediate actions. First, we are broadening the scope of Canada's anti-money laundering and terrorist financing rules.
Okay, this is the part that I've been getting into it on Twitter. So people are saying she'll give banks power over corporate and personal accounts. So let's listen closely.
So that they cover crowdfunding platforms and
we'll
terrorist financing rules. So that they cover crowdfunding platforms and the payment service providers they use. These changes cover all forms of transactions, including digital assets, such as cryptocurrencies. The illegal blockades have highlighted the fact that crowdfunding platforms and some of the payment service providers they use are not fully captured under the Proceeds of Crime and Terrorist Financing Act.
So our federal law doesn't have a way to shut down these charity sites that use like maybe non-PayPal sources to cycle money through. Okay.
Our banks and financial institutions are already obligated to report to the financial transactions and
loss of proits is a bit different than the permanent destruction of property and also deaths. But yeah, I love hearing this because like anyone who's talked to anyone from Portland, like Portlanders were absolutely befuddled by the the absolute destruction of their city. I'm just like, what are you guys talking about? There's like a few buildings that were burned down, like a fucking Zellers. I can agree with some things this government has done to shut this down, like at the border, but I don't understand how they think they would deal with Ottawa. I don't know either. I mean, this is OPP and they're fucking failing. Pretty incomparable to BLM on basically every level, except for the fact that it's also somewhat organized. I mean, it's incomparable, particularly on the moral front. I think morally, there's no comparison. The trucker convoy doesn't even have its arguments in tow. Like they haven't even figured out what they're about. They're just screaming freedom for weeks on end, blaring horns, yelling mandate freedom, and like provinces are like, yeah, we had plans to end our mandates already. What are you talking about? Like, you're at the wrong place, and we're doing it anyway. Like, and then they start blockading the city core the day that like business opens, like madness, absolute madness. Shouldn't Ottawa citizens do more counter-protesting if LEOs won't end the occupation? We covered that earlier with the Battle of Billings Bridge. Yeah, that's basically the major problem you have when law enforcement officers don't do their fucking job. Took this government forever. Yeah. Counter-protesters were threatened. Oh, wait, what? Where was that? Threatened with arrest for mischief yesterday? Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Portland's pretty chill. Yeah, morally, yeah, there's just a massive difference. 30 land offenders were in court yesterday. Oh, that'll be interesting to dig into after. They're about no mandates. Yeah, but it's just like, what's going to happen if there's consequences to that? Are they going to be okay with, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a conversation. It's not like it's just a simple black and white, no mandates. Okay, we're done now. Like, people have tried that. It might not work. Hopefully it's a peaceful solution. Maybe they can all play a hockey game. Yeah, truckers versus cops.
Ports Analysis Center of Canada.
Hold the
or
line.
FINTRAC. As of today, all crowdfunding platforms and the payment service providers they use must register with FINTRAC, and they must report large and suspicious transactions to FINTRAC.
Okay, that's such a non-issue. Crowdfunding sources must register with this agency that is regulated so that they are part of this like reporting process so that we can start stamping down on funding of terrorism and extremism, which, as we saw with the Vice article, like there's like people dropping hundreds of thousands of dollars on this shit, like 200,000 anonymously. Like, what the fuck is that?
This will help mitigate the risk that these platforms receive illicit funds, increase the quality and quantity of intelligence received by FINTRAC.
I would characterize it as vague because it like almost every speech was just platitudes, and a platitude is like an empty statement. God loves our country, or everything's going to work out in the end, or like we have these phrases because they help us finish thoughts, or they sound good, but they ultimately sometimes just like mean fucking nothing. Like mandate freedom means literally nothing because freedoms are defined by how they interact with other freedoms. It's not something that exists in a vacuum. So when people have as their rallying cry just freedom and mandate freedom, or like they're like mangling left-wing mottos like my body, my choice, people start to question where these thoughts come from, where they're going, and what they actually want. And when the leaders like espouse white supremacist theories, like the great replacement theory that we saw from Pat King, when Tamara Lich is part of was a failed politician, part of the Maverick Party that was trying to do Wexit, one of the dumbest secessionist attempts ever done in this country. It's hard to buy it when they wrap themselves in the flag and say they're patriots. You tried to secede. You can't be a patriot a few years later screaming about freedom. It's madness. So that's what I mean by vague. Like you dig into it, you ask the most basic, rudimentary questions. What do you mean by mandate freedom? And you just get the word freedom on bullhorn with some trunk horns and fuck off lib, and you must be a Trudeau supporter. And just like, no, I just genuinely want to understand what the fuck you guys are upset about. Just help me understand here. And it's been weeks of this shit. So nobody has patience anymore. You obviously have nothing to back up your words. And that's what I mean by them being vague. Like I still don't know what the fuck these people want other than overthrowing the government, which is not a valid thing to want immediately after an election. The message of the movement is literally no mandates. That's it. Lol. Yeah. I'm also, you know what I'm going to go protest tomorrow? Crime. No crime, everybody. Let's just protest crime. Very simple, everybody. We're all going downtown to go protest crime. Are you against crime? If you're not against crime, you're a fascist. Like this is kind of what we're working with here. Yeah, no mandates. Okay, buddy. Okay. And when our hospital systems start to fail, just carry on, I guess, like the Americans. Just watch the death count rise. Just accept as part of our day-to-day thousands of people dying like the Americans. No, that's okay. I live in a country where we discuss things, where we have like some ability to like argue. And yeah, when someone just yells the word freedom and that takes away all oxygen in the room and no one else can get a word in edgewise to be like, yo, that idea is bad and you should feel bad, that's the real problem. Like, the message is vacuous. There's nothing there. I'm not forced to just believe whatever dumb shit comes out of your mouth. You know what I mean?
And make more information available to support investigations by law enforcement into these illegal.
Which mandates? The mask mandates? Because that's really fucking dumb. It's really dumb. It's insanely dumb. It's just like, no health official is going to be like, but no, wait, the masks work. Like, it's wild to me. Oh, a follow. Galloy Field 2718. Thank you. Yeah, I just like, I don't understand it. Like, it's an opinion that has to exist outside of like context. You have to decontextualize things completely. It's simple. They just want no mandates. It's just like, okay, but there's a context here. We're going through a pandemic. You can't just like magically hand wave the past 2 years. I'm not saying you have to agree with it. No, I'm trying to answer your question, Hubbleson, in a way that satisfies you. I'm trying to substantiate my point that it's vague. That when we actually get into it about what this means, just get rid of the mandates, that all sorts of way more complicated, obvious questions come up. Like, but wait, why would you expose people to more risk when the cost to reduce risk is so little? It costs so little for the average person to put a mask on. And it, as all the studies have shown, does an incredible job at preventing, particularly when two people wear them, when we're both wearing it. Yeah, it's like saying like, oh, geez, the Kevlar didn't work, so we don't have to be worried about bullets anymore. Like, no. The Kevlar doesn't protect your whole body, but it's protecting the vital parts. And people who wear Kevlar tend to do better than people who don't. People who wear seatbelts tend to do better than those who don't. Like, this is like this. We're hitting all the what is it? We're hitting all the beats. The mask saved him from getting sick this whole time from the rest of us. So stop stewing crap, man. All right, I'll move on. I'm still knocked.
Blockades. We are making these changes because we know that these platforms are being used to support illegal blockades and illegal activity, which is damaging the Canadian economy. The government will also bring forward legislation to provide these authorities to FinTrack on a permanent basis. Second, the government is issuing an order with immediate effect under the Emergencies Act, authorizing Canadian financial institutions to temporarily cease providing financial services where the institution suspects that an account is being used to further the illegal blockades and occupations. This order covers both personal and corporate accounts. Third, we are directing Canadian financial institutions to review their relationships with anyone involved in the illegal blockades and report to the RCMP or CSIS. As of today, a bank or other financial service provider will be able to immediately freeze or suspend an account without a court order. In doing so, they will be protected
Montreal right now
against civil liability for actions taken.
But listen, Cal, this isn't a matter of opinion. Like, you think we're going to settle this with a conversation. It's been settled in the scientific circles by the experts. It comes on down from high. Yeah, we don't have to get personal. We don't really care. We don't care so much about that kind of stuff.
In good faith.
No one is there for me, so why would I not be selfish? That's a tough question, Cal. I mean, I know it's really difficult to extend trust, but we really want to try to foster positive relationships with people. Every now and again, you do come across a super cool human being who like takes you where you are, loves you for who you are, and you can grow with that person. But if you only seek negative attention and people criticizing you, it's harder to foster those kinds of positive things. You know?
Institutions will have a new broad authority to share relevant information with banks and other financial service providers.
Yeah. Anytime there's a nurse in the chat, and like, this is what I mean. Like, there's just such a different fucking tone when people start spouting anti-mask stuff. Like, as soon as like like an actual professional walks into their room, like in a normal environment, like the mood would shift. Like it would just immediately shift. But because it's chat, like all your comments are like equal or whatever. So like, yeah, it doesn't have the same effect, I guess, unfortunately. But yeah, you're absolutely right, Semudorf. Saimudirf. That's a tough word to say.
Sure that we can all work together to put a stop to the funding of these illegal blockades. This is about following the money,
Follow the money. And that's what I've been saying this whole time.
stopping the financing of these illegal blockades. We are today serving notice. If your truck is being used in these illegal blockades, your corporate accounts will be frozen. The insurance on your vehicle will be suspended.
Okay, this is a perfect opportunity for this quote from The Wire, one of the greatest TV shows ever made.
Get drug. You follow drugs, you get drug addicts and drug dealers. But you start to follow the money, and you don't know where the fuck it's gonna take you.
Free dummies. I thought you were like Norwegian. Yeah. I mean, that's how we learn. People are against masks because it became a political issue, not a scientific one. Yeah, exactly. Fauci exacerbated it by saying masks didn't work at the start to stop a rush on them. Absolutely correct. Yeah. That's a very rare take you see in the wild, that people understood that Fauci was trying to thread this very difficult line of being like, masks do work, but we can't risk like a flood of people sucking them all up because they need to be prioritized for healthcare workers. And of course, the American healthcare system is absolute dog shit. And so, you had people like creating markets, like black markets, and states competing each other and shit. It was quite a shit show in the early days.
Send your
Cal.
semi-trailers home.
Bye,
The
Cal.
Canadian economy needs them to be doing legitimate work, not to be illegally making us all poorer. Il s'agit de suivre la...
It's all about following the money. It's about putting an end to the funding of these illegal blockades.
If you admit to lying because it was the right thing to die, how can anyone trust you again? Hubbleson, if you've ever been in the position of like trying to navigate an impossible situation, it's sometimes possible that people just have impossible choices, that there is actually no good answer here. It is both true that there's a shortage on these masks and also true that the public needs it. There's no way to like prioritize it for healthcare workers. So what message, the only power you have is like messaging, and you make a mistake and people roast you over it. You know, that's the job. I think what was new was that like was Trump sort of like pumping out conspiracy theories, being like, you know, Fauci's a bad guy and don't trust Fauci, and Senator Rand Paul getting into it about the like weird conspiracy theories. I can't remember, like what was it, like gain of function research? Oh my God, just a whole nother, oh God, no. You should have said, yes, I lied to you because it was right, but now I'll step down because it tainted the discussion. Yeah. I mean, just to be fair, Hubbleson, like Dr. Fauci's got creds like that. Like, you know how a lot of times leaders are sort of replaceable. Some people aren't. Like he's top tier. He's like a Michael Phelps. You know what I mean? He's just like so well respected in the field for like just some misunderstanding over like a comment, you know, during a very turbulent upsy-daisy time. I don't know, man. I think like his pedigree gives him a little bit of armor. Yeah, I don't know. I think he could. His pedigree is so much armor he could fall on the grenade, I think is the metaphor I'd go with.
Blockades.
I mean, Hubbleson, Trump was also in favor of injecting, you know, bleach or whatever. Like, is there a way we can get sunlight inside the body? Almost worth going back and watching it again. It is some of the best comedy on the planet.
Consider yourselves warned. If your truck
Japan's an
is
island.
used in these blockades, your corporate accounts will be frozen.
I think it's going to take a few
The
years.
insurance on your vehicle will be suspended.
We already know what style of government. It's a dictatorship, pre-natural. They've already put out a memorandum that they since walked back because they got a bunch of blowback, being like, yeah, we'd like to form government with the governor general and like maybe these people over here, maybe some of those people, and we just get rid of parliament, noisy parliament. And everybody's like, that's a dictatorship, my guy. Like, do you guys hear the words you're saying? We watched a video of some people in a tent getting deputized, you know, given the powers to like arrest and detain people. And it's like, whoa, that's police powers. And those police answer to public representatives. Like we've thought about this already before. Like,
Your rigs home.
you can see everything at the right
Canadian
corner.
economy needs them to do legitimate work and not make us all poorer illegally. We've taken these measures after deep thought. I have discussed this with the heads of Canadian banks. I thank them for doing what is necessary to ensure laws are being complied with and that Canadian democracy is being protected as well as our economy.
The past 2 years, we have trusted one another. We've leaned on one another. What we are facing today is a threat to our democratic institutions, to our economy, and to peace, order, and good government in Canada. This is unacceptable. It cannot stand, and it will not stand. Thank you.
Yeah, contradiction in terms, anarchy government.
And I'll now turn over the floor to my colleague, our Attorney General, Minister of Justice, Dave Lametti.
Minister of Justice. Okay, let's see if we can find any live streams. We got war campaign on foot here downtown Ottawa. Right. So yeah, that's what I wanted to check in on, just on the finance ministers, because there's a bunch of hay being made about like the federal government can now yoink into people's personal accounts because of that BBC article, and it doesn't sound like that at all. It sounds like they're expanding the federal law to force charities to be part of something that they ought to be a part of. Like, there's a massive loophole essentially that they're closing. Like, it makes sense to me that American charities should have to like register any unusual donations, such as $200,000 anonymous donation from someone. I think they should have to like register that in case like there's some fuckery going on, right? Like, how else are you going to find out if, you know, ISIS is funding jihad? You know, aren't we all worried about ISIS? Everybody remember ISIS? Oh, geez. Are they honking again?
Investigation on how donor information got released. They'll be back up as soon as possible. Okay, well, that's good news. Thank you, Mandrake.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, so then I would say hang on to your cashola, get ready for that. That's coming. Okay, so that's the best way to
Support the truckers that way. Support us by liking and subscribing. If you're just joining us for the first time, this is War Campaign. We're going to be covering the convoy every day of the week.
Ooh,
you know, so
that's spicy.
Tune in for continued coverage. We're trying to get to...
Wait, is anyone else having sound problems? Because my levels say I'm fine.
We appreciate it.
Yep. We got Mania Urquhart. Hail, Mania. Hail, sister. She says, haters gonna hate. F them. Ignorance is...
The blocus of the bridge was really important in the country, or just something that most of the people had ignored? No. So many people are dialed into this. So many people are like paying attention. It's dominated our news coverage for weeks on end. And Canada never has shit like this. We're very boring. It's awesome. We're like actually have pretty boring politics most of the time. There's a massive like populist, let's say, attraction in this for conservatives, because like you say the right words, you meme the right way, like conservatives are gonna fucking love it, right? Like, my people. And a lot of them haven't really experienced like hardcore activism, like going into the streets and like trying to occupy shit. So this is a lot of conservatives becoming politically activated for like the first time. And that's always like a big moment for someone, a real sort of like, oh, wow, I didn't realize I could find a sense of identity through politics, let's say. And so a lot of people are sort of having that moment, but that popular sentiment is being hijacked in my mind by like a lot of bad actors, like far right yahoos and like Nazi sympathizers, white supremacists and shit, to like raise money, to hawk their shit, to promote their brands, to you know, save people's souls, the whole 9 yards. You gross. A lot of the speeches, and the speeches are always where you go to, are like empty, absolutely vacuous.
Want to sniff gas.
Apparently, they said them ignoring the injunction for honking will not go unpunished. Yeah, I think they're doing it like here and there sporadically so that the police have a harder time policing it if they ever get around doing it. I thought there was a few fines. I'm not sure what the news is on that. Yeah, we covered that earlier this morning. Fat Steven, the Vice had a story on it. Grid.news had the original scoop that it was like Bangladeshi content farms that started all this, which I find very interesting. Like, what's going on there? I read a post from a blind person's experience that navigation downtown is no longer safe due to not being able to hear environmental cues, just honking. Yeah. You read an article, so it's nonfiction? No, I mean, like, what about that sounds crazy? A blind person couldn't navigate downtown because of honking. Yeah, of course. What are you talking about? It's about as easy as a layup as you can get. Cenotaph is clean. It's good to see. I have clips of live stream saying otherwise. They stopped for one day and have been making noise all day and night since. Interesting. I've seen up-to-date videos. They are honking. Oh, fuck. Did you watch the interview Viva Frey did with one of the organizers? He explains the injunction. We watched quite a bit of Viva Frey, but he's average. Enforcement safety, the main reason. Yeah, there's this really fucking crazy tweet from Ottawa law enforcement that it's like, yeah, there's too much violence, so we can't stop the illegal behavior. There's too much illegalness happening. There's too much criming, so we can't stop the criming. Just like, wait, what? I've heard they're logging infractions to deliver to the drivers once crowds are gone. Yeah, that would make a lot of sense. The injection was only to stop air horns and the train horn. That's not true. I thought it was all honking. I mean, I had a quote up here from the judge that was like, honking is no sign of like great insight, last I heard, or something like that from the judge. Noise torture tactics. Yeah, it was popularized by the CIA and spread around the world to be used in black sites. Usually it's like some song that's played on repeat for days on end. You've seen up-to-date videos. I've been covering these streams for 12 to 16 hours a day live. Wow, Fat Steven's a live streamer, everybody. 12 to 16 hours, man. Get a job. Jeez. I'm joking. And the noise torture has turned the locals against them? Yeah, for sure. Bias? I mean, yeah, man, everyone has bias. If you're pretending you don't, you're very sussy.
Right? See, the chat's where it's at. Like, you know, I love reading the chat.
Yeah.
Who here loves reading the chat?
Thank you indeed. We got Al Near sends $5. Just sent you an email. Check it out and feel free to share on the feed if you want. Hold the line, y'all.
Yeah, and like noise is usually not about as much about how loud it is, but how often it goes, right? Like how long and how long the periods are, because our ear muscles just get weak. Like they strain, right? There's actual muscles going on there. And so, yeah, sometimes decibel and length of time are like the two major factors. And they've been doing this for like weeks and shit. And maybe we have an interview.
So I'm a tourist. I'm just very interested in how the Canadians fight for what they want.
Right.
That's
Tourist.
the way they did it.
Yes, sir.
I'm just trying to explore everything here.
How do you find it so far?
It's very impressive.
Very impressive.
Yeah, but I don't know how this is gonna end.
Yes, sir.
I really don't know.
Yes.
So that's the problem.
But you're impressed.
I'm impressed.
Why?
Because I think it's kind of because of the COVID.
Yes, sir.
You know, everybody's kind of stressed out.
Yep.
And this is kind of a way that people kind of
Blow off steam?
express their feeling, because they have been a lot of isolation,
Right.
lose jobs, a lot of stuff is happening for the past 2 years.
Yes, sir.
And I think this is one way of expressing out the emotion due to the economic, the governments, everything. So I'm just curious how it's gonna end.
Yep. Definitely, brother. And you have come from, I'm thinking China,
Yes.
right? And when was that?
When was that?
Yes, sir.
I came here in last December.
So, okay, you're brand new then.
I'm sorry?
You're pretty new to Canada.
I've been here like a couple of years ago and
Uh-huh.
in Vancouver.
Okay.
This is the first time I'm here in Ottawa.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well,
It's a beautiful
welcome.
city.
Welcome, brother. Welcome.
beautiful city.
Yeah, man. I'm really happy you're here.
Yeah.
You got anything message you want to say to the world, brother?
To the world.
The world, yeah. We got 5,000 people watching right now.
Yeah,
World
absolutely.
Peace. I want peaceful. I don't want anybody get hurt.
Yep.
I want everybody to get what they want.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
I know it's very difficult,
No, that's not gonna happen.
but I truly wish everybody to be happy, and free.
Uh-huh.
And that's my message.
Oh, platitudes.
As policies compared to Canadian, like the communist policies, are you a fan or not really?
You mean Chinese policy
Yeah,
against
in
Canadian?
China. In China.
What policy?
I don't know, just the way that they got communism over there, and the party, CCCP.
So
Yeah,
every country is different.
Sure.
How they run the office,
yep,
how they run a country. It depends on the country's population.
right.
I love how little War Campaign had to contribute to the discussion about Chinese politics other than communism.
The geopolitics, a lot of stuff.
Free Taiwan, free Hong Kong.
So China is the first country to use the communism to rule a country that has 1.4 billion people.
So you're a fan, it sounds like.
Yeah, that's an interesting comment. I don't know. I think a lot of these people will also be like extra, like, what is it? Like the backfire effect, where when your belief in something is challenged, even if the other person like has facts and evidence and stats and charts and the whole 9 yards, you actually just dig in on your beliefs because it becomes part of your identity. So I think people actually, some of them will feel shame and they'll just be like, okay, that was an embarrassing moment in my life, but others will fucking triple down for sure.
I'm Chinese. I'm a Chinese citizen.
Right.
And I think today, a lot of people judging
Yeah, they got me.
Chinese policy,
Right.
how to run a country.
Uh-huh.
They said the communism is bad.
Yep.
Capitalism is good.
Yep.
But they don't understand that no country has ever done it before.
Uh-huh.
To use the communism to run a country of 1.4 billion people.
Well, India has a stack of people too, right? The Indians, there's so many of them, and they don't have communism. They got capitalism over there.
But China is the biggest economy. The economy is the biggest. The
Hold on a
first
second, yeah.
economic country,
Right.
most powerful country in the world now.
You think it's the most powerful country in the world?
Economically.
Wow, okay. Right
This
on.
guy's laughing, but
Sure. Now
China
you're gonna have
China is absolutely ascending.
Wrestle me, you know that, right? We're gonna have to wrestle.
No, I'm not gonna wrestle you.
No, I'm just teasing. man.
DCP is bad.
Yeah, man. I mean, anyways, that's fine.
No,
man.
because
yeah,
the
sure.
reason I'm saying that
Yeah,
is
yeah.
we have a lot of misunderstanding.
Well, I've seen so many videos.
Hubbleson, I think you deeply underestimate how popular Xi Jinping is in China. There's massive popular support for their leader.
And just everything, man. It's just
No.
It's I just can't imagine having social credit score the way you guys
So,
got.
We're
Yeah,
talking about Uyghurs
yeah,
in Xinjiang.
sure.
And there's a lot of Western media, CNN, New York Times, Washington Post, you name it.
Sure,
They said there's genocides.
sure.
But I really want to invite everybody who have doubt on this
Right.
to visit
Uh-huh.
Xinjiang.
So he wants people to go visit Xinjiang. Oh my God, Jesus. Yeah, let's go on some fucking government tours. Okay, so I've totally missed the Ram Ranch stuff. Apparently people have been trolling the Zello threads with this like song about 8 gay cowboys, which already sounds really funny. But this is a 20-minute video, so let's just like see if we can cut to the good bits.
Alright, my name is Nelson. This is Aggressively Sweet. There's a Twitter space right now with all the Freedom Convoy. So we're just gonna sit and listen to this. This is gold.
I'm First.
Well, you're not Dan, but sure, go ahead.
Okay, I'm First Nations, and though I don't support you guys, I do want to give you at least some direction of where you're headed with your insurance and things like that. And I'm being respectful here. I'm not going to yell at you or anything like that.
Ram Ranch.
But I've been listening to you, and I wanted to give you some direction and some critical points of what you've been discussing about getting insurance and stuff in the States and all of that stuff. Everybody that's on this feed right now, and if you're at any of the protests in Coots or Ottawa or Toronto, I'm going to be honest with you. Your license plates, your registration numbers, your VIN numbers, anything like that have already been taken by the authorities.
Oh my
and have
God.
been shared to Homeland Security in the United States.
No.
Yes, it's true. And so
It is.
anybody that's there,
You
they
know
only
that's
may not
happened.
have to know your names. They will find out who you are. You will
This is
not be
not.
able to
This is
enter
more
the
serious.
United States,
Before the
probably
last
rest of
person
your
that
lives.
spoke was playing the Ram
So,
Ranch song.
I'm going to be honest with you guys.
Oh no.
The best thing that you can do
What?
right now
Okay, this would be a good way to
is
end
there's
this.
you have two options here. You can leave, and hopefully whoever it is that you work for, meaning
I mean, she's just talking sense right now.
or trucking companies and whatever, are going to be willing to keep you on, and so you have a job to be able to put food on your table and stuff like that. If you don't, even if you own your own rig, the chances of it being seized are very high. So you've got to think about that, because I know that these rigs are really expensive. I understand you guys think that you're fighting for freedoms, but you're about to lose a lot of them. You're not going to be able to fly. You won't be able to go into the United States through land, through air.
Says you. Who like?
Oh, I'm just telling you.
We're
I'm
up
just
here
telling
fighting
you.
for
I'm
freedom.
just telling you.
We're up here fighting for freedom. We're trying
I'm just
to
telling you the
demoralize
facts. You don't have to listen to me. That's fine.
Lil Green, shut up and
But
let her
I'm
speak.
just telling you the facts. I'm not trying to I'm not trying to belittle you. I'm not trying to do anything like that. I am just telling you exactly what this means.
Oh no.
The fact is
That's what we mean about, like, when you start talking about fucking mandate freedom, and everyone who knows anything about like law enforcement is just like you guys.
Homeland Security is a part of the United States that was formed because of what happened.
No,
Oh,
I've had
they
enough of
kicked
that.
her
I'm
out.
sorry.
They kicked her out.
Don't we have a right to privacy? Like, it's in the charter.
It's a little. It's
The
very
thing
sad
is,
because these
privacy
people have
stops
kind
when
of fallen
you
victim
commit
to, you know,
something that the
conspiracies and
government
stuff.
sees
And
as,
Yeah.
but
as
it's
a
awesome
domestic
because there's so many
terrorist act.
speakers with
So it doesn't matter.
I don't want his commentary though. Is there a way to hear this without his commentary, so we just get the source itself? I'll play this in the background while I look.
How we see it, it matters how they see it. So you have to think about what the consequences are going to be, and then decide: are you willing to
I wonder how
put
can I
yourself in
speak?
that position? Are you willing to put your family in that position, your children in that position? This is some, like, you may not like her, but I was really firm about saying let her speak, because the fact is she was telling the truth. And whatever everybody's opinions on this, whether you're one of the trolling ranchers or whatever, you need to
Don't
make
even
sure.
say that word. And listen, I hear what you're saying, but we need to let people. We've heard enough about the truth.
We've heard enough about the truth.
We've heard enough
It's
about the
about time to speak about lies.
It's all lies. It's all lies.
Yeah, it's all relative. You know, it's got big mainstream media proof that they keep trying to peddle us and just try and, you know, paint us all as a bunch of Confederate Nazis.
Oh shit!
fascists,
This guy's crying.
They're ramming it into us. Their agenda, their liberal agenda.
They're ramming it.
He said ram ranch.
Yeah.
Did they mute
We
him?
all need to take a moment
Oh.
and just breathe.
We all need to take a moment to breathe. No, I don't see it. I don't see it.
Yeah. Because there's so much going on now.
Take a deep one. Sorry.
Are you okay?
There's
so much
so many
going
people
on now,
trolling, and
it sounds like we're going to start
it's
turning on
kind of
each
sad.
other.
It's kind of sad,
And we can't do that.
but it's also funny. Freedom Convoy
No,
2022.
we're not doing that, because I just took her out anyways. Like I said, we got the truth. There's one truth. We got it. It's here. Let's leave it there.
There's only
Don't
one
be
truth.
turned on anybody, but I don't want to
Yep.
hear any other ideas about the truth. We know it. All right.
Can we sing again?
Guys, no more ideas.
Just to
No more truth.
feel united.
Oh my god, it's heartbreaking. She's so
You know,
sad.
we need to stick together.
Oh boy.
I think these guys are
That's all I'm going to say.
anti-vax, right? That's the whole thing. Anti-vax, anti-mask.
I would love to hear it.
Where's the ram? Give us the RAM.
If I get rammed, oh Jesus Christ! Thank you. Please stop.
If I get rammed, he says.
Darlene, they rammed again. Oh, sorry, Mike. I keep forgetting to turn the mic.
The only thing throbbing at this point is my fucking head.
Guys, I think half of these people are pretending. Yeah, let me play you the Ram Ranch while this is going, the actual song.
The yard, big bulging cocks, ever so hard. Orgy in the showers at Ram.
Okay, I get it. Yeah.
Right.
Only good vibrations. Only good vibrations.
Let's get some direction here, all right? So
Only good vibrations, everybody. Chill vibes only.
We're gonna do this thing. We're gonna put our own government in. We know that. We know we've got the thinkers. We know we've got the brains. That's fine. We're gonna do it. Now, we just need to think. What would our first moves be when we get that the big house, that we're looking at with all our big rigs right now, and we get down to that 24 Sussex. Guys, we're gonna take Justin right out. He's been living in that place.
Oh, that's
living
normal.
in the lap of luxury over there, and he's out. And we'll take over.
He's a lap dog. That's what he is. He's a lap dog.
Frank, if I've told you that's like 1,000 times, I swear to God. All right, you know what I'm about to say, Frank.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. Now, raise your hand. Go ahead. We're gonna get some new speakers, and I want to know what's issue number one.
What's issue? Freedom.
Government.
Okay, Trucker Girl is getting me a lot of Instagram accounts of like white women posing in front of like trucks and stuff. So I don't know. This isn't working.
And we're gonna
form
do this
government.
for maybe 10 more minutes, and we're gonna come back.
Oh,
Once
yeah.
We've calmed down. We've had a little thinking time. We're gonna come back.
They're just gonna make a little government. Didn't you know that? Just make a little government.
And go ahead. We're gonna get some news.
These people. I think the joke that I heard was like, these convoy protesters think government is like occupying the skull cave. They think just like going to a spot means they're government now. It's like.
And I want to know what's issue number one.
What's issue? Freedom.
Form government. And we're gonna
form
do this
government.
For maybe 10 more minutes, and we're gonna come back. Once we've calmed down, we've had a little thinking time. We're gonna come back, and we're gonna talk. Okay, what are we doing with our trucks tonight? Where's Pat King? All of that kind of stuff. But first, what's the first order of business when we get the government for us?
What is the government? Are they making their own government?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, Frank.
Why are you guys I'm not trying to upset you, but why are you guys censoring and muting a reasonable voice when that woman was trying to talk to you? She wasn't being disrespectful. She was literally trying to just give you the bare bones of exactly what's going on, period. Like, even though there's people that
Frank,
disagree with...
Side, or Miguel, you on our side or not? Christ, I called him Frank. I'm sorry, Frank. Miguel, are you on our side or not? Okay.
I'm not on anybody's side. I see the benefits and
I know what side he's on. What side of the border he's on. Don't get us confused. I know that, but I know that commie pinko
Got him.
rubbish that he's talking.
Commie pinkos, everybody.
Oh boy. Hey, I know that commie pinko rubbish as
I'm
well.
trying to tell everybody one more time.
I know that.
No infighting. All right, we're getting along. This is a love.
I know that.
It's like we've been saying about. We all love each other here, so don't fucking come talking about this stuff. All right?
Dude, it's kind of sad though, isn't it? Like a lot of these people seem like they're literally on the edge.
The first order of business. Can we ban broccoli? I hate broccoli, and we need to make that illegal.
Hunter would totally vote for that.
Is this
We're here to talk about our charter rights that the government is taking away from us, not fucking vegetables.
we have the right.
You can say that, bud. I haven't seen you up here. We've been eating hot dogs up here. Vegetables are. I've been talking to some wellness people up here. I've changed my whole view on life. Changed my whole view on life.
They were injecting the hot dogs needles this morning.
Yeah, nobody's eating broccoli there because it's awful. Hot dogs rule.
Jesus, hot dogs.
Has anybody
the weakest of the meats. Unfortunately, Twitter didn't save last night's meeting, but she's got another one set up on her page for later tonight.
We're a democracy in action already, guys. If somebody said broccoli, no, that's not our first order of business. All right, no bad ideas, but no, not our first order of business. Next.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about something that's got me really worried as an independent trucker. Freeland was on the news and she was talking about our banks being decertified, and the idea that any business, any independent trucker, you're your own business. I mean, you can be decertified from your bank apparently. That means they can seize your bank account. And I mean, what are we supposed to do when our bank account is seized and it's decertified? And that means like this
It's-
is an emergency order for 30 days. But
So,
we could never be able
it's
to
like-
use banking services again.
Some people are truckers,
You know, and
some
it's kinda
people are
making me
trolls,
angry
and some
that,
people
you
are
know,
like
we
fake
came out
trying
here
to
the
like
hill
scare all the
support this,
truckers.
you know, and Pat King had us out here, and we had no idea that this is the sort of thing that could happen. You know, because I stood up for freedom, I might never be able to use a bank again in Canada. Like, how am I supposed to feed my family, you know, and collect a paycheck when I've been decertified by all the banks in Canada?
Is it not the consequences of my own actions? When peaceful protests are outlawed and rights can be nullified at the stroke of a pen, violence becomes inevitable. Well, Browse, thank you for jumping into the chat with little to no understanding of our laws or how our society even fucking works. I've never been to a protest that was able to cost the country hundreds of millions of dollars in damages to the economy every day, or really like been able to have a, you know, bouncy castle or hot tub. I've never had a hot tub at a protest.
Does anybody have an answer for that?
Wait, you don't mine broccoli, you hunt it. I mean farm. Sorry, you don't farm broccoli, you mine it. More bad takes in the chat.
Once we form government, there'll be lots of cheap broccoli. Nobody will want it.
What are they talking about? What are they talking about? What government?
But I won't be able to double down. Like, how are you gonna? What's your plan to overthrow the government? I mean, the trucks are parked there on Wellington. They're not on the hill. So how are we overthrowing the government? Do we? Are we?
Cops are on our side. Cops are on our side.
True.
That's
yeah,
true.
we got the cops, so we have to get the governor general to.
This guy is called
dismiss
Cam,
Trudeau or whatever
Horn
it is she
Police.
does. That's why we've got the line.
This guy's gonna ram wrench.
You know, so we just gotta make a plan. We gotta coordinate everyone, stop breaking everyone up like we're doing right now. That's why we have to be united.
The governor general hasn't said anything. So I mean, if that's your plan, it's not working, and it's just all of us getting decertified from our banks. And I mean, how you can't get a job and get paid without a bank account. So I mean, if that's your plan, is waiting on the governor general who hasn't said anything since this thing started.
This guy's a legend.
Like, I think it's time for us just to leave, man, before we
Oh.
lose our ability to make a
Let's take
livelihood.
that idea and run with it. First order of business.
I think this is fake. Let's start our own bank.
Government, we can do a bank.
You can't start your own bank, man. You can't even get the governor general to comment on what's going on. At the end of this, we're not going to be able to make any money.
Look, if you read the protocols in Zion, it all starts is with this banking.
Where did I find this? Someone mentioned it in the chat. Apparently there's a source trucker gal, but I've been having a hard time finding it. This dude was part of this live meeting. Jacob Morin seems to be re-hosting Trucker Girl, so that might be a way in, but you got to be like there when it's happening. So we'll try to catch the next one and be there live and listen in. And there's a website called rambranch.ca that I'll post in the chat, and some of the older memes are there that we can check out.
I've met some really intelligent people up here, and they'd be.
Is broccoli grown underground? I mean, like, yeah, that's why you mine it. Like, you know how you can have like caves for mushrooms? You have caves for broccoli. And they grow out of the ceiling. That's why they have that like that odd shape to them, because of the way the gravity hangs on them.
You know, do you have any of those smarter folks in here right now? That, you know, this guy's got legitimate questions, and that's what we're here for. So let's get back to it.
I need some answers.
There's someone laughing in the
what
background.
is going to happen, or I'm not sticking around for this, because I am telling you, I know there's others that are thinking the same thing. We are not sitting with our trucks in downtown Ottawa if it means we're never going to be able to access any banking in Canada. So what is your plan? Because this comes into effect tonight. They're out there. They're getting the plates. They're getting our information if they already don't have it. So unless you have a plan to overthrow the government tomorrow, then I say we just get out of here before we've ruined our lives. And I mean, it was a great.
Has Canada ever had a black
but I mean,
prime minister?
it's not worth it if you don't have a plan for what's going to happen tomorrow.
Well, first things first, I'm going to cover my plates up with duct tape, and I think everybody else should be doing that too. That's a first.
Oh, yes.
But man, if they can.
Well, no, if you cover
You got a little for me, bud?
put some snow on it, because that way it's the snow just fell on, and what are they going to do? Ticket you for the weather?
If I
smart.
Speak for a
That's smart.
You can find it. Know around.
I'm pretty sure broccoli is a cauliflower. Like it's from the same genus as cauliflower, and we have a bunch of different foods, vegetables that we love and enjoy that all just come from the same cauliflower gene that humans cultivated into different species over like hundreds of years. Yeah, some of our earlier GMOs.
I think you fellas are missing out on some important things here. It's a three-legged stool in Canada here. We have our government, we have our banks, and we have our insurance companies. They're attacking you through all three methods. They've already got all your information. I think the ship's already sailed on that, fellas. And here's the song for you.
The Navy's with us.
Oh, fuck. Ships, we're truckers, bud. We're truckers here. Let's all stick together. Let's double down. Hold the line.
You know what, man? You can stick around to have your bank decertified, but you know what? I'm going to the Ram Ranch.
I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. The whole time I knew him here.
I'm not being rammed again. I'm sore and tired.
Dude, the guy that keeps saying I'm not being rammed is like super troll, and he's been here
I've
for
had it up,
ages.
if you guys could see your Instagram, yo, I have my hands up. I've had it up to here with this ramming. And
They're memeing. They're just memeing. They're memeing.
I lose my. Listen to me. I can't even string a sentence together.
I think this
They
guy's
keep
the
fucking
troll.
ramming.
This guy's the.
It's just memeing. It's just memeing at this point. Just like
was the
more memes than fucking.
Bro. We have 6.3K
Romanesco.
live right now. Thank you very much for tuning in. This is War Campaign. We're having some fun in Ottawa.
Highlight
celebrating
government
freedom with the
overreach and
truckers.
trampling of people's rights. Pretty clear if you turn off the MSM. Well, browse. Did you know that the Emergencies Act that the Prime Minister is invoking specifically has in its writing the protection of civil rights and liberties? You know, the Charter of Rights and Freedoms aren't being suspended. We're not calling in the military. We're getting police to talk to each other a bit better.
Please like and subscribe. We're trying to get that
Yeah, and don't let anyone ever say I don't do fan service.
sub count to 25K today.
What is a throat goat? It says Family FF.
What is a throat
Goat
goat?
is the greatest of all time. GOAT. So throat goat, therefore, is the throat goat. We got Sharon, hail sister, Sharon Bergstein.
You don't read those
Bergstein
ones.
says $50. Appreciate it. Thank you, sister. She says Invoking Emergencies Act. Is something going on?
We're doing a thing.
Yo, this guy
what are you
doesn't
guys
know.
doing?
You'll find out in 2 minutes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That guy doesn't even
Invoking
know.
Emergencies Act. Justin Trudeau follows father's lead. The Emergencies Act replaced the War Measures Act, which was most recently used by Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau during the October 1970 crisis.
Oh, hey, Zenny, how's it
Throat
going?
corn you get.
How are you doing this morning? Expecting something to go down? No, not really. We're just kind of covering the Emergencies Act. There's a bit of like confusion about how that's going to play. And we just covered the Ram Ranch memeing. I think there's one of the earliest Ram Ranch memes that we missed out on. And these are people who are trolling the truckers. So I think this is one of the first ones. Let's just listen in.
All I do is I hope and pray that nobody gets hurt.
Got another channel you want to do that from? Because I'll block that one too, buddy. I can keep doing this.
You gotta ban that guy. You can't just mute him.
Oh, I blocked him.
Yeah,
Keep going, buddy, if you got another one. Come on, buddy.
So does that mean the 2 lanes have to empty
Bye,
out,
Galloy.
or
I'll see you later.
does one
See you tomorrow
lane have
morning.
to remain open so traffic can move?
Expect the military?
So do we have to move off the road, or do we just have to leave the 1 lane open?
Simon, I will not have this
How does that work?
propaganda. Simon, no propaganda in the chat, okay? Broccoli is evil. And it only was created so that parents could abuse their children with the support of the government, okay? No more propaganda.
Hold the line. Amen.
It's come to my attention that this group has been infiltrated. They set out to have one goal in mind, and the goal kind of worked its way in the inner circle, and it actually worked. Didn't actually think it was going to work. It was kind of a little too easy, if I'm being quite honest.
Cowboys wanted to suck. Cowboys in the showers at Ram Ranch on the beach wanted to suck cowboy cocks. Ram.
It's so obnoxious.
Cowboys in the showers at Ram Ranch. Big old Johnny Cox wanted to be sucked. 18 naked cowboys wanted to be sucked.
Oh no.
Cowboys in the showers at
Oh
Ram
no,
Ranch on
mute
the
them.
beach wanted to suck cowboy cocks.
Oh no. Alright, we're done with that.
Corn. Yeah, see, it's interesting, Sharon, because I looked that up. And
Dirty, nasty. If you want to go listen to that filth. If you want to go poison your mind, then you can go poison it. You can go poison it over there. Okay. Enjoy.
War Measures Act, okay, which was predated the Emergencies Act, was used, according to what I read, 3 times during World War I years, World War II years, and then this FLQ, the separatist.
Zenny, this is insane. You're proving that misinformation works in my chat. One person says a wrong thing. Now I got 2 people saying a wrong thing. Jesus.
October crisis. So
whatever happened to Brussels sprouts?
3 times, and now they just renamed it. This is the thing, right? Excuse me. In 1984, in the book, they rename everything. All the words, double plus good. Every single thing, the memory hole, everything's renamed. And that's where we're at. You just rename something and all of a sudden it's not tyranny anymore. You just rename it. Independent A sends $5. Love from Florida. Thank you for the live stream. Much appreciated. Thank you. And a big hail to Florida. We got Robin Boostrom sends $5. Margaret Trudeau and Pierre Trudeau were invited to Cuba in 1970 FLQ crisis. She later said that Fidel was the sexiest man she ever met.
Okay, you might be selling me on broccoli. I like a beef with broccoli. Nice Chinese stir fry. What if Trudeau's plan works and all the truckers go home? If most of the truckers across the country simply called in sick until further notice, the country stops functioning. Game over. Yeah, Browse, you'd be right if 90% of truckers weren't currently doing their job, double vaccinated and crossing the border. A-okay, no problem. You would be right. You'd be totally right. It would be a pretty serious problem. Unfortunately, they do not have the numbers and they don't have the leverage. Yeah, exactly.
Is Papa.
He's the one that gave us.
We have a lot of people saying in the chat, yes, she is the throat goat. They're saying LOL, throat goat.
Yeah, hold on. There's something going on here. We got a lot of people who are standing in one area, okay, and I can just smell something coming. Also, that lady told me they were doing something. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's hang out here and see what we can find out. Holy cow.
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a bit of investigative journalism.
Investigative journalism?
Perfect. How you doing, sir? How are you? What's happening, brother? You guys getting together for something?
Yeah, we're doing a march.
So here's the real conspiracy theory, Simon. Apparently there was like a change in which like species of Brussels sprouts we started eating in like the 80s or 90s. And like apparently the previous species was quite bitter and the one we're on now is like quite tasty. And I've like tested this out. I've had Brussels sprouts recently. You roast them in like flaxseed oil or some sort of canola oil and like add some bacon or whatever. I don't know, like some salt and pepper. Don't even need much, but you mostly just roast them, pan fry. And yeah, they're incredible. Absolutely delicious.
A march around
Parliament, no, it's called the Jericho March.
Jericho.
Yeah. All right. Like in biblical times when they watch the march around the walls of Jericho for 7 days in a row.
Oh, jeez. Right on. Very cool.
Don't give up.
There's Jocko over there with his Australian flag. Hey,
Australian.
Jocko, how you doing? What's happening, man?
People are so weird, man.
Jocko. Yeah. Do your thing, man. That's Jocko. He's an Australian refugee. Thank you, sir.
Refugee?
He's an Australian refugee.
A white
who's
Australian
come here
refugee?
to Canada for freedom and peace.
How the hell did he become a refugee from Australia and land in Canada? How? That is like one of the farthest possible treks a refugee could possibly take. Oh, that's crazy. I think the assumption that vaccinated truckers automatically don't support those who have declined the vaccination for personal health reasons may be incorrect. Sure. Yeah, that seems fair. I've seen both. I've seen definitely just from live footage, just walking around. One sentiment I've seen was like I am double vaxxed. What's the problem here? Kind of thing. Don't force me to wear a mask. Like it didn't always have the clearest logic. But the proof of the pudding is in the eating, and the fact that I can go to the store and buy pudding and eat it. So like most Canadians aren't like reporting problems. All the important fact here, Browse, is the unions. The unions are all coming out against this, saying very clearly, like, most of us have no problem with vaccinations. The rank and file that we govern over are a-okay with how this works. So I think like that's kind of the thing you got to figure out. Big surprise? Yeah, what kind of surprise?
Hail freedom.
Hail freedom.
My name is Benita. I'm here from Alberta in Ottawa simply because there was a call on my heart to be here. How many of you felt a call on your heart?
My heart. Look how few people there are.
God works in amazing ways.
Hell yeah.
He works through those of us who know him, and he also works through those who don't know him.
You hear that, everybody? Even though I'm an atheist and I reject your Abrahamic God like I reject all gods, I'm actually secretly working for God. Riddle me this.
He's amazing, and he is all powerful.
I've literally, like, one of the weirdest conversations I've had was when I tried to like talk to somebody who was big into the PPC, right in the early days of PPC. And I'm just like trying to kind of reach across the aisle. And he legit thought I was sent by God to have a conversation with him. And like a year or two later, he's like leading the anti-mask protests. And I lost all respect for him, just absolutely all respect. And that's the only other time I've heard someone say to me, an atheist who is just like, I don't believe in this shit, be like, yeah, God's making your choices for you. And just like, whoa, okay, all right.
God has allowed certain things to happen.
Okay.
Because he wants his people to acknowledge him and come back to him. And it's working!
Yeah, hey!
Oh, American truckers? Wait, no. No, Jack, you don't think American truckers are coming to Canada, do you? They won't be able to get across the border.
Got some amens in the chat. Amen.
Yeah. Something more unhinged than someone just yelling the word freedom. You're like immediately worried about your own freedom. You're like, oh God.
Watch with these. There you go, man. Praise Jesus, Matt Stone. Love you, Jesus, Rick.
By the book of Joshua.
Okay. All right. Book of Joshua. Everyone, get your copy. Are you if you're following along at home? We're reading the book of Joshua. Time will tell. I hope that everything will remain peaceful and the country can work out the differences. Those in power who are making poor decisions will ultimately be judged in the next election. Browse, we had an election. We voted in Trudeau, and one of the major issues was the implementation and enforcement of mandates. We literally had a fucking election. That's why Canadians have so little patience for this. Just like, yo, you're coming in with demands to overthrow Trudeau when we just had an election. You're trying to say mandate freedom, get rid of mask mandates. We just had an election, and that was one of the major issues. Like, yeah, like it's extremely conceited. It's one of the most obnoxious things I've ever heard of. I'm going to Utah? Ooh.
Now Jericho was securely shut up because of the children of Israel. None went out and none came in. And the Lord said to Joshua, see,
It's okay, Simon. We can look past our differences over broccoli. Broccoli can be based if it's done right, I guess.
I have given Jericho into your hand, its king, and the mighty men of valor.
Oh yeah, and yeah, that peaceful thing has been that's not true anymore. Like we've come across way too much information.
You shall march around the city, all you men of war. You shall go all around the city once.
like that. I like that. There's somebody in the chat I read said God is real. I don't think you got to say it. If you lived it, if you ever had any difficulties in your life, then you know. That there is deaf providence.
Corn.
Okay? You know what it's about. Let's put it that way.
Corn. The answer is corn.
I don't think you got to say it. It's just. This is so violent.
I don't know what you mean by Peace Bridge chat, though.
It says Ryan. Free pastor. Yeah, right? Free pastor Artur, says Michael Cordy. That's sad what happened to him, man. That's crazy what's going on there. Freedom Walk, says Courtney. Freedom. We go. You're not the boss of me, lady, says Artemis Quest. There you go, man. Looking good.
They're having a meeting there? Like right in Utah?
Yeah. This is good. I like this. I like seeing everybody together. I mean, personally, I'll hang back myself, but...
Isn't Utah like a flyover state or something? Isn't that what it's called pejoratively?
It's neat to see. It's good.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We are live. This is War Campaign, and we are at the Convoy in Ottawa.
We sure are.
Looks so boring.
Hey, man, if it works, then I would say just keep walking around Parliament, you know what I mean, all day long. Just keep on going.
It's the same people that are angry that El Trumpo lost. Yeah. The live chat on the Peace Bridge stream. Okay.
I mean, jeez.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, they said it was a Jericho march. They need to make it a Jerry Can march.
Yeah.
Jerry
We got
Can
Kevin, he
march.
says, Ro, tell me this isn't absolutely crazy right now. Of course it's crazy. We live in crazy times. I mean, this is where we're at. We got Robin Boostrom sent $7. Atheists and the religious need to stand together. I don't believe in God and religion at all, but we must stand united as Canadians, religious or not. You know, I'm very spiritual myself.
This guy's all over the map. 1 minute he's telling us, you know when God is in your heart, you'll feel it. Another minute he's saying he's atheist. The next second he's saying he's very spiritual. Pick a lane, my guy.
We all got, so Ty, you know, the fourth member of the War Campaign, right? The guy's been streaming with us this for years now. He's a very, very strong Christian, okay? So,
yeah,
you know, that's who he
true.
is. Gat went to, you know, he knows tons of the Bible and the rest. Pan, I mean, you can speak for yourself, brother. Myself, I mean, I'm not a Christian. I believe in 100%. I'm a religious person. You know,
So what parts do, like they say different things.
father used to take
They
us
sometimes argue with one another.
to mass here and there, and you know, I've been to Polish church with my sausage lady, who's a Polish lady, and I found it very spiritual, and you know, I respect everybody, and that's what it is, you know, and I'm very, very personally a very spiritual person.
Does this mean all the trucks were cleared? Because I see Parliament, I see a gate, but I don't see any trucks. I see a big empty.
I'll tell you one thing, my wife was in hospital for 6 weeks in the summer, and I was praying, and my kids were praying, and she came out, and the baby came out good. So you know, at the end of the day, when things are that bad, I mean, you'll get on your knees, man. That's just what it is. Life will take you there. So I got respect. You know, I'm not going to join in their march because that's not my place. But hey, man, I got big respect for everybody there. And hail the chat. Hail Jesus. And
Hail Jesus.
And a big amen to everybody.
Hail freedom, everybody. Hail freedom.
For myself, I'm a big Jesus respecter. You know, I went to church when I was a kid with my family, and you know, got a lot of respect for all religions.
Love me.
Really, you know, it's beautiful,
Freedom
and
lovers.
the fact that we can all come together is, you know, what it's really all about. So that's freedom.
See, it's funny right now. You can make fun of religion all you want. We don't really do that on the War Campaign because
I do.
I would say we are more spiritual.
Preferably specific beliefs. You know, you can be religious and be based as fuck, be like super cool. There's a lot of really lovely charitable folk, but there's definitely lots of weird things in those old texts. They moved them all into one area. This is not kettling. This is not kettling. These people can leave. Kettling is when you can't leave. I had a Scottish roommate once who just living in Canada for as long as his work visa would allow. He was like really hot for this woman that was a friend of mine, a super based person, and he was going from A to B, and just walking with his bike, and he got kettled by the police and issued like several $100 fine, and he had to be like, do I actually have to pay this? Like, what the fuck is this? I was just like, how the hell did I get this ticket? So yeah, like kettling has been going on long and strong in Canada for like well over a decade, and this is not it. This is not it.
And religious, and plus it's such a low hanging.
Yeah, it's pretty half-assed.
It's not really. I don't know. It's not. I don't know. We don't.
You want to qualify that a bit more, Jack Taylor? I checked out those feeds of the bridge and looked like traffic was moving. Looked pretty boring.
It's not something we've ever really done, is it, Pan? It's not over the 4 years. We haven't.
Yeah, to me, it's just not funny to make fun of people's spiritual beliefs, really, in general. It's just, and that's personal preference for me, I guess. I mean, sure, there's probably some funny jokes about, the Pope and Raquel Welch on a lifeboat or whatever. But,
Wait, what?
We just don't joke about it. People say war campaign, oh, you guys are violent, you want war. It's a spiritual war, and we're all taking part in it.
Hear that, everybody? It's not a class war. It's a spiritual war. This isn't about labor rights. This is about saving your soul.
Join us, like...
Honk if you want your soul saved. They kettled them, believe me. Watch the streams. Oh, from last night. Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I thought you meant right now. I'm like, wait, what? No, these people are like just chilling. Yeah, okay, no, I believe you on that for sure. I'll see if I can find from last night. Greed, racism, and religion. Now they have one way out if they want to hightail it out. I'm curious. I'm gonna go check that out.
Subscribe. We hit 25K today. That's a big milestone for us. We'd like to continue bringing.
Yo, why can't we hit those numbers on this chat?
News and take it up a notch and maybe one day take.
Oh, there's
on
those
the
fucking horns again.
media.
Oh, there's all the
Campaign.
trucks.
So help us do that. Spread the word, like and subscribe.
Oh my God, shut the fuck up. I'm so sick of hearing that.
See, the thing is, in modern day media, they want you to make fun of religion. They want you to make fun of God. They really do.
It's because humor is a way to point out how absurd some beliefs are. And there's a lot of absurd beliefs in religious texts.
Because they do want us godless. They want we're weaker that way. That's what it is. They want us without any kind of, you got the national anthem, right? God, keep our land glorious and free.
Man,
it's
that
important,
is
man. This stuff is real. It's not.
Some
your
strong
rights come from God.
arguments.
Human rights. They don't come from man.
You hear that, everybody? No, we didn't settle this argument hundreds of years ago and create something called parliament so that we could elect leaders that, represent masses of people so that their will is said. No. We're going back to monarchism. All our rights come from God. We have kings and queens and feudalism. Like, I don't think these people hear themselves sometimes talk.
Only man can try to take it away from you. So there it is.
Truth is paramount. Truth is paramount says even Scientology. No, not Scientology. They're a bunch of wackos.
Live and let live. Yeah,
amazing.
No respect for Scientologists at all.
Amazing.
Especially what's his name? Pulp Fiction guy. What's that guy's name?
Tarantino.
Religion is the politics of spirituality, says Rita Book. Love you guys.
Oh, the other Pulp Fiction guy.
Yeah, I think
Travolta.
I mean, I like making fun of accents. I think that's funny.
Nice.
I don't know, maybe some other stuff. Like kind of, bar type humor. You're sitting at the bar with the boys having a laugh, but.
Well, yeah, like locker room type.
Yeah, locker room, exactly.
We're running around the locker room like whipping each other in the butt with towels.
Whoa, boy.
Stupid jokes and. It's kind of war campaign, but, we're a little more serious now that we're, dealing with actual freedom. And it is in Roe's hometown, It's
real freedom.
Pretty serious business, so we're learning as we go along, and we appreciate you all joining us.
Yep. Paige says, let me hear your southern accent. I can only do Russian, Scottish, Indian. Those are like the three I can do. Maybe, yeah, that's pretty much it. You know, Pan's got a bigger range. He can do Wakandan, right from Wakanda. What else, Pan? You can do?
Yeah,
What?
I can.
Yeah.
I can do a little bit of down south there. You know, come on down.
Oh
Come
no,
on down.
here we
get
go,
yourself a
everybody.
beer. We'll sit next to each other. I smell you, you smell me. You smell real nice. And yeah, you know, so Wakandan. Let's see, Wakanda would be like, come to Wakanda, where we are very isolated from the rest of the world.
Wakanda.
So the Wakandans, they're separatists.
Wakanda forever.
Oh no. What are you guys doing?
Yeah, I mean, hey, what can we say, man?
No, there really
Irish.
isn't.
Pan does a good
But I gotta create content somehow, Pink Pineapple.
Irish.
Just a wee bit Irish. I click my
Oh
heels
god,
together.
okay, maybe we just skip ahead the fucking accents. Oh, speaking moistly. Oh, there we go. This is better.
Hey, hey, horny man. Hello, you horny man.
Hey, G.I. Joe. G.I.
Oh god.
G.I. Joe.
That dude is off his bed.
Me so horny.
He love you long time.
Me love
Okay, there, have a good one. It goes down, how far down it goes down here?
You go all the way here till it ends.
War Memorial, they got trucks here?
Yeah, then you keep going, Sir Jam, right? John A. McDonald.
Yeah.
You'll see the last outpost over there. It's cool, man. Those guys are lonely over there. So yeah, man, it's neat. It keeps going, brother. There's all over the city.
Yeah. Well, I haven't had breakfast yet. I didn't
Go
have
eat, man. Relax. Actually, they're going to be serving breakfast just down that way there. They serve breakfast, they serve lunch, everything. You get everything
Nice.
you want. And there's
Yeah.
also a bunch of Indians just over here.
No health
They're
regulations.
making Indian food.
Ooh,
Right?
Yeah,
Indian
you can eat
food.
anything, man.
Indians,
Fuck
natives?
No, man. India from the dot, not the feather.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh god, stop.
They're making Indian food.
Right?
Yeah, you
No, like there is your clue, my guy. When he said Indian food, that was your big clue.
can eat
What kind
anything,
of
man.
Indians? Natives?
No, man. India from the dot, not the feather.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
because I figured, maybe we get some fucking deer meat, deer burgers.
Oh,
or something.
you want to?
Fucking deer burgers. This is the dumbest Canadian conversation I've ever fucking heard in my life.
Natives. No, man. Sorry. You only get the guys that don't wear deodorant. Cheers, man.
Oh, Jesus.
All right.
Having a good time. You know, it's a beautiful day.
Yeah.
You know, having
Amazing.
fun, poking fun.
Amazing.
You know, supporting the truckers. Thanks for joining us. We hit 25K subscribers today on YouTube, and we really appreciate it. If you haven't yet,
apparently-
like and subscribe.
apparently.
Share out the link. That's how you can support us here at War Campaign.
Apparently, Ottawa Convoy organizers plead to Coutts, Alberta truckers, many of whom were arrested.
I have to ask all across the country, get to your borders, get to your cities, come to Ottawa.
Is that a police badge?
And support all Canadians.
Donc, on demande à tout le monde à travers toutes les villes de partir de où ce que vous êtes et de venir vers Ottawa pour être en mesure d'avancer les choses.
D'avancer les choses.
Ou de vous rendre aux frontières.
In Alberta, at Coutts, I know there's people leaving. Please don't leave. Stand your ground. There's help coming from the south. Stand your ground, people, and stand up for your rights and freedoms. Thank you. And what else?
These people do not look
I
very
have to
well
ask
organized.
all across the country.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to get in if they're not vaccinated. That's the other thing.
Hail the chat, hail brethren. Yeah, keep an eye on the Give Send Go. I know people are saying it's not. Some
This
of them
war
are having
campaign
trouble.
guy's not very smart?
But
No,
keep an
but
eye
he's
on
entertaining.
It. You know what? I'm sure it's going to be back. The link is in the description.
Seems nice.
I'm sure they're just figuring out all this stuff, but they'll get it. I know.
Although
Greg,
he did have that one stream where he was part of the convoy, like blocking the airport, and that was pretty sussy. That was a little odd. Yeah, I thought that was kind of, I don't know, crossing the line between reporter and activist, you know?
And go, brother. I know they're working on it. I'm not sure if it's. You can check it out. The link is in the description.
Oh.
It's the best way.
Well, then then yeah, if that's weed tobacco pouch, he's way more based.
Indian encampment right here.
Weed
These are
equals
all,
freedom.
Punjabis from Punjab. A lot of these people grew up here, or
the end stages,
are,
5
It's
stages.
a mix. So this is where they do their samosas.
I think we're in bargaining right now.
I like it, man. This is what I like with the,
The Sumerians, Egyptians, Greeks, Romans, Norsemen, and all the rest thought their gods real. At some point, the Abrahamic God will also be relegated to mythology. Steps down off soapbox. Yeah, I mean, like, there's all sorts of like good stuff in the Abrahamic books, and some of it's good, and a lot of like Sumerian religion ends up making itself into culture and like becoming codified as just like common wisdom or stuff like that. A lot of our belief systems nowadays were like formed by the way that people thought religiously back in the old times. So like I used to be like a big into like new atheism or whatever, and just like really hard into it, and just kind of like tone that down, because there's just like quite a few lovely religious folk that I've met in all sorts of different like houses of worship, and there's a certain community you do find there that you don't find elsewhere. So I do think they bring that to the table.
the Sardarjis, the Punjabi, the Sikhs. So I used to go to Gurdwara with my family. Also Mandir, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. My father was a very spiritual person, and then we started going to powwows, and my father got into Native American stuff too, and then some pretty cool, pretty neat. A lot of places to learn from in life. How you doing, brother? All right, let's see here. Hold on, from Germany, says Richard. Hold on, from Germany. Coffee, says Devin. Yeah, it's early right now. It's 9:30, so that's why you're not seeing places that are open right this morning. I got to get some chicken for the freedom soup that didn't have chicken in it, so that's something I'm gonna have to buy.
Can't have a freedom soup with no chicken.
Buy from the store.
What kind of freedom soup is that? What the fuck?
And then probably drive down a bag of chicken.
These people don't even know how to make
because
freedom
the
soup.
soup, honestly, I'm a connoisseur of freedom soup at this point.
Right? You've been getting your fill of
What the fuck is freedom soup?
Exactly.
It's just chicken noodle soup.
Yeah. Billy D says you were rude. Oh my lord, was I rude?
Again?
I think she says he says I'm rude. Billy D says I'm rude to the Freedom Supers? I don't know.
Freedom Supers?
I don't think so. I think I was joking. I think they got it. But yeah, you do got to be careful. Not everybody always gets everything. We got Wendy. If they do what Ford said and lifetime suspensions on truckers' licenses, the whole trucking industry will shut down and stop taking loads. Wow. What do you think, Pat?
I just find it strange that people would base their entire belief system on something that's no
happen.
proof of actually
Yeah.
existing.
Mamma Mia says
It's more complicated than that. Like, people get their beliefs from all over the place, and oftentimes when we get beliefs, we get them from trusted sources, people that we know and love and trust in our lives that we see often. And sometimes you can't challenge a certain belief in like that super critical way because it's coming from someone that you have a lot of love for. And so a lot of bad beliefs can sort of like slip through our radars. And it's especially true if you're in a community that's sort of like, hey, these bad beliefs are ones that like we actually organize around or whatever. But yeah, generally I feel like beliefs come from all different sorts of places, and it's not so straightforward as to say like these beliefs are obviously dumb and these beliefs are obviously good because it's so tied up in family and culture and community. You can even think about yourself, like what's something that you didn't believe, or did believe a couple years ago that now you recognize as full of shit, and be like, oh geez, where do they get that belief? And you might have a hard time figuring out where exactly you got that belief. So it's usually not so straightforward to just be like, religion bad.
And then you will be very happy for entire life. Or you can do like white people.
Sandwich guy? I missed the air horn. Yeah, the air horns are super, or the train horns are really bad. Hope rent increases, downtown decrease, at least B. Wait, what?
And all of a sudden she ran away with mailman. You are all alone.
I hope rent prices downtown decrease.
Son, listen to me.
Indoctrination? Well, I mean, not all. I mean, all parents indoctrinate their kids, but not all beliefs are like harmful, right? You can have some bad beliefs that are misguided or whatever, but like, they're not that big a deal. And you could have learned that as a young kid. Like, I mean, I don't know. I think there's plenty of like traditions. Think about just like the lies we tell our kids about Santa. And like, there's a lot of lovely traditions that are based around that lie. And a lot of parents don't really struggle with like the moral ramifications of lying to their kids, even though they know for a fact that Santa doesn't exist, right? So you can see that like we can find examples where you get there. You know, where kids get filled with bad beliefs because it sort of facilitates some sort of community experience, and the community experience is really what we care about, like the Thanksgiving dinner built on myths or whatever, and yeah, etc. My mother's side is Christian and my father's side is Hindu. We've had a hell of a time getting a grip on religion. Oh man, I feel for you. Those are very different religions. Hindus all looking at the Christians like, okay, so you have 3 gods, right? And Christians are like, no, we have 1 God. And then the Christians go to Hindus are like, so you have 1 God. And then the Hindus are like, no, we have so many gods. Just goes back and forth and back and forth.
His name is Rohan Kumar. So there you go, Rahul. He says India is greater than Canada.
So Hinduism has a holy trinity too? Like, no.
We don't do like China. In China, they make you take social credit, okay? In India, we tell people don't take
There was,
credit.
this guy's accent is super annoying. There was a chief with his tribe there, and he sent some live streamers on an hour-long walk to get mayo for sandwiches. Ew. Sandwiches? Gross. Who even eats mayo? Am I right? Is that even a thing anymore? Do people eat mayo? Mayonnaise is disgusting, and science agrees. Huh. Well, no shit. First search result. Do you side with science? All right, everybody. We're about to do a mass culling. So yeah, look at that. I'm not going to read the article because I've already kind of come to my conclusion. So there you go, everybody. Science. Everyone who's a non-scientist, out of the chat. Religion probably originated as an organizing principle for community. It was more successful. Today we see clashes that are less helpful. Yeah, I think Christopher Hitchens, for all his faults, once said religion was our first, but it was our worst. It was our first attempt at biology, our first attempt at astrology, our first attempt at like all sorts of shit. Sociology, criminology, but it was generally our worst attempts at all of those things. We since developed far more robust systems and scientific methods, yada, 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 yada. I'm just going to pull up some freedom truckers exercising their God-given freedoms to play some motherfucking hockey. Because it's that time again, everybody. I let the stream go on hella long, which means I'm gonna have a long day at work, and then I got homework after this. So yeah, we're coming to the end of this stream. I don't even know if it's worth rating anybody, man. Got mostly YouTubers. Well, I hope you had a lovely time. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope we all learned something together. Hopefully about science and ram ranching. Yeah, I'll be here tomorrow morning. I won't be here Thursday because I'll be working in a school. I think same thing Friday. I think I'm in schools, working in schools Thursday, Friday. Salad and mayo is fairly healthy? What the fuck is happening? I've made mayo myself, and it was amazing. And I'm like, oh, okay. Oh, okay. Now I understand mayo. It's a really strange process too. You take 2 egg yolks and like a 1/4 cup of like neutral oil and blend it, and it just turns into mayo. It's really weird. Nah, homemade mayo is the only real mayo. The street food? Licking their fingers? Ew, Lacey. I don't want to hear about that. Yeah, I'm sure a bunch of people are like absolutely not having a good time eating just random food that they found on the streets. Okay, so I just want to raid someone maybe a smaller streamer. We could always raid Preach again. He's sitting at 14. He's watching Gordo. You guys want some Gordo? Gordo's usually pretty fun. Definitely not a police badge. Okay, well, I'll be here tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock, and I got a poetry slam in Montreal this Sunday at Theatre St. Catharines. Check out the Throw Poetry Collective on Facebook if you want to go see an awesome scene this Sunday. I'll see you later, everyone. Bye. Bye. Au revoir. À la prochaine. Salut. Salut, bye.